see Jason Anderson out, driving to Louisville. It's going to be crazy. I'll be heading there next week. We might just hang out. Jason and I are going to drive 8 hours just to see each other in a different city.
Love has no bounds.
Love has no bounds. It's going to be like one of those cheesy rom-coms. You have to let me on this flight. You have to let me through. Don't you know? My co-host is in Louisville. Even though I'm driving, so I don't know why I'd have to go through TSA. Deebs will be TSA. I don't know if Deebs will let me go through. Oh, yeah, I see what he's doing. I'm getting patted down by Deebs, guaranteed. That's a guarantee. I didn't even make the thing go off, and yet I'm getting patted down.
He just wanted to do it.
He just wanted to do it.
Love of the game.
I get it. That's a zone for you. ELE, everyone. Love everyone. A lot of things to get into today. Jack Johnson will join us for the first hour. We'll talk some Royals, talk some baseball, talk some home run derby, talk some all-star game as well. By the way, that was a fact. The AL did win, and they won by at least 2.
Do you remember the Michael Wacha fact or fiction?
Don't remember that one.
I do. I got that one wrong.
Don't remember that one.
Right.
All I know ball. Let it be said. We'll have Matt Verderame join us at noon. We'll talk some Chiefs with Matt Verderame and take a little look around the NFL as well, because I want to get into some of these rankings that ESPN has put out. Now, it's not ESPN doing the rankings. They are just the ones publicizing the rankings. These are from execs, scouts, coaches around the NFL going through top 10 at all of these different positions. Wide receiver came out today. Safeties will come out tomorrow. That is the final position group that will be released. So Verderame from SI joins us at noon. Mick Schaefer at 1 o'clock, and then Jeff Montgomery joins us at 11. Monty will join us at 11. Feel bad. Might have to keep him from golf a little bit on this beautiful day.
I mean, there's lots to talk about Royals-wise.
I bet he still finds a way to make it to the golf course. I know Monty. He'll make it happen.
Can't hold him off.
You can't hold him off. And I bet Mick will be coming from the golf course to here. I feel like it's a pretty safe bet.
That's just what Mick does. Loves the sport.
As I'm wearing golf clothes because I'm going golfing when we get off air today.
Where are you playing?
Men's League, baby.
Men's League, okay.
Brokerage, you serious?
I had to ask.
Come on. With my Arnold Palmer shirt.
Would you ever wear that outfit to go play Golden Tee?
Yes.
Okay.
Unequivocally.
Okay.
Which gave me a great idea. I need to bring a golf glove so I can start wearing that at Golden. That'd be a good bet to have. Who's the dumbass with a golf glove? Oh, you know who it is.
The guy that's locked in.
The guy
that guy.
I'm bleeping locked in. Okay? I'm trying to protect the Golden Tee hand. You know how this goes. All right, let's get into the All-Star game. I do want to get into, again, the ranking system in the NFL, so we're not focusing all on baseball today. But getting into the All-Star game, Dylan Cease started this, and 10 relievers after him blanked the NL. 15 strikeouts. Michael Wacha was a part of that. Struck out 2 guys. It was fun seeing Bobby Witt Jr. mic'd up as Michael Wacha was pitching. The Royals might be 2 scoops of ass this year, but there's at least 2 scoops of positivity in the All-Star game seeing Wacha and Bobby on the field together. Bobby Witt Jr. 0 for 1, but he did have a walk. Did score a run. What was your main takeaway from the All-Star game, besides me being correct, of course?
You know, it's funny because I got to catch bits and pieces of it when I was in between moving, but I was really surprised to see how dominant the AL staff was, but also, and maybe this would take very quick research to figure out, I feel like the AL always finds a way to get the lead in these All-Star games, and then they kind of just coast. The last couple All-Star games, if I can remember correctly, have been fairly similar. And did the AL win last year as well?
The AL has been on a heater. I don't know if they won last year. I think last year was one of the few they lost, but the AL has been on, what's it like?
They win most
11 out of 15. They
Except for in Kansas City. That's the one that I remember when they got blown out in Kansas City.
That's why I told you it was free money yesterday. You didn't listen.
I was with you.
Jack, you knew the AL was going to win last night.
Oh, yeah, because so many guys on the National League side weren't able to play. They were nursing injuries, and the American League almost always dominates. And now the AL did have some guys out too, but I always thought the cheat code the National League had was Shohei Ohtani.
Well, didn't matter.
Yeah,
didn't matter.
Pitching was too good.
No, what were your thoughts on Walker and Bobby? Field, same time, again, in a season that's been so poor, having this small amount of positivity come out. I mean, I thought it was cool seeing Walker go out. I didn't think he was going to get in the game because Walker doesn't seem like a traditional all-star. Not the numbers are, but he's not a guy that throws 98 plus. He's not a guy that's traditionally a massive strikeout pitcher, although he got 2 in his 1 inning this time around. His changeup obviously is phenomenal, but he's not this young up-and-comer. It's not Mizorowski, if you will. So I didn't think he was going to get in the game. So it was great for me to see Walker get his flowers in this particular one.
Yeah, it was great to see, and since he's nearing the end of his career, a guy like John Schneider, who's managing the American League All-Stars, it was the right move there. If this was 15 years ago, Michael Walker wouldn't have been in the game because it mattered for home field advantage in the World Series. I am one of the people that I'm glad that this doesn't dictate that. This week is supposed to be about relaxation. It's supposed to be about fun. And though it did add an extra element to the game, I always thought it was pretty dumb if you had an American League team. I mean, the Royals, if they would have gone up against that year the Dodgers in the World Series, like the Royals would have had home field in 2014 because the American League won.
Sure.
That was Minnesota, I believe.
I know it was stupid, but I love that.
I mean, it was great
cool.
for the watchability. I mean, people really cared about it, and the players really cared about it. But to me, I'm not sure that should be the way to dictate it. And unfortunately, it's also hurt the All-Star game because, now people don't take it as seriously. I mean, the players, of course, I would say there's a sense of pride there. You want to get into it. You're an all-star. You get to represent the American League or the National League. But it kind of is inching its way closer to what the NBA All-Star game is. Not quite the Pro Bowl. But baseball always had the best All-Star game for a long, long time because there were, as you say, Darcy, I mean, there was stuff on the line there. But I'm sure a lot of players were not happy about that because they're going, you're telling me if we win 110 games, but the All-Stars out there lose for the National League, we could not have home field in the World Series. To me, that seemed a bit unfair because that just seems like robbing a really good team. But they need to do something more than maybe what it is right now because I'm not sure the viewership was as great last night. And though the American League dominated, it wasn't all that great of a game. I mean, 4-0, that's pretty boring when you think about it.
I think the hardest part is with all these pitchers who are so darn good, you're not even getting a lot of times to see them more than 3 batters.
Yeah.
Right? And so if it's not, you can go, what does he have today? Well, I don't know because he's already out of the game and now a new guy's in there. I've always thought the All-Star game for hitters, it's nearly impossible. I've always thought that. Now, you can always make the case that with that many guys coming in, you have a chance for one of these guys to not have it that night, right? But they're all-stars. You're not throwing in Matt Strom right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to hit these guys, and now with everybody throwing 100 miles an hour, I mean, you're basically the guys that are coming in after the second inning, they're pinch hitting. They're having to worry about hitting guys like not quite a Jacob Mizorowski, but you're having to hit the best guys out there in the National League or the American League, and you're cold off the bench. It's really hard to do, and that's why I believe we've seen some of these lower scoring games. You're not seeing 9-8. I mean, one of my favorite All-Star games ever was at the time it was AT&T Park. Now, of course, Oracle Park in San Francisco. That was an awesome 2009, I believe it was. The Derby was fun. The All-Star game was fun. It was competitive. It was thrilling all the way up to the very end. And, I know Arlington 2 years ago, that was a 1 or 2 run game. So there was some back and forth there. Ohtani homered. Jarren Duran homered in that one, who was the All-Star game MVP. But the last 2 years, it just hasn't been that great of a game. And when you think about All-Stars versus All-Stars, And these are the best in the world. These are the best hitters, the best pitchers. And yes, pitching does seem to have the upper hand in things like this, but you should be able to have some of these games where it's 8-7 or 6-5. I mean, some of the lineups you construct, those pitchers got to go through a ridiculous 1-9 or 1-3 or 2-7 when they're coming out of the bullpen or they're starting the game.
Is this a microcosm of where baseball's at right now, where pitchers do have the advantage, where you can put the best pitchers versus the best hitters, and the pitchers, for the most part, are going to blank you? Because that's where I think we are as the landscape of Major League Baseball, where pitchers do have the advantage. I know we can talk all we want, and old heads will talk about, well, that's why batting average matters. I think it matters to an extent versus just trying to have a high slug or OPS, right? Is this just an example that pitchers have such an advantage, the elite pitchers versus elite hitters in baseball right now?
Well, I look at it the way we do with the postseason. I mean, the postseason, you're going up against everybody's 1 and 2s to start a series, and you rarely have those outbursts. Those usually happen in Game 3, Game 4, and so on, and that is what makes the postseason great, because you get to see pitchers and hitters at their best. But it's really tough to score off those guys. I mean, I don't believe that pitching has ever been this good, because it's a combination of velocity and a combination of control. We know that there's been this transition period of 30 years ago. It was more about command and not so much velocity. I mean, you had your outliers. You had your Nolan Ryans of the world, your Randy Johnsons of the world that could run it up there, upper 90s to triple digits. But it was more so about guys that could locate well. You got Greg Maddux, of course. I even thought, the best closer of all time in Mariano Rivera, he had one pitch. Like today's game, you can have a really good pitch, but you got to have more to your arsenal.
Trevor Hoffman, too, was just throwing change-ups up there.
Yeah, and it was about placing it well, setting them up. And that part of the game I do miss a little bit, because I believe there's so much craft to it and so much baseball IQ that goes into being a soft-tossing pitcher. Not even soft-tossing, just not a flamethrower, and you have to get big league hitters out. That's the misconception I'm not trying to get at here. Baseball was still very talented 30 years ago.
Yeah.
It's been that way for a long, long time. The difference is nowadays you've got human beings that are built to throw 100 to 106 like Jacob Mizorowski as a starter and locate well. As a big league hitter, how are you supposed to counter that? Or you've got guys with turbo sinkers, and even though Christopher Sanchez wasn't good last night, you got to hit a guy like that who's 6'5", 6'6", slender, can really locate a 95 to 96 mile an hour sinker with a good power circle change that has a slider that can go down and into the back foot. There's so many different pitches where 30, 40 years ago, you usually had your fastball, your changeup, your curveball, and that's what most guys stuck to, and it was around 90 to 93. They were still really, really good, but now, I mean, think about how many different pitches there are. It was the sinker. Guys threw sinkers. It was like a sinking fastball, but now you've got the sweeper and four-seam. Four-seam and two-seam was back as well, but we almost have gone over the top in categorizing pitches, the number you can have. Like, what is the difference between a sweeper and a slider? It's like the angle of which the ball comes in.
Or a slurve as well.
Or a slurve, yeah. So to me, we're getting too cute with it, but pitchers pay attention to that. They do throw different pitches that do different things, and that's why it's so tough on hitters, because maybe all those years ago, I'm identifying 2 to 3 pitches. Where now you go up against some guys, and it's I got to identify a sinker at 101 and a slider at 93 and a changeup at 86. And those, I can't imagine being up at the plate having to work with that. And these pitchers, man, the ones that stay healthy, it's just an unbelievable amount of talent, because I personally don't believe human beings are meant to throw 105 consistently, but a guy like Jacob Mizorowski has proven everybody wrong.
Yeah. I guess even back then, though, you still had Burt Blyleven, who threw 2 curves. He threw a 12-6 and then a normal curve.
It was around back then. It just wasn't
as
promoted as much as it is now. Yeah.
And I think for me, just the difference is, and we'll move on to talk about CAGs, but it's not the top-end guys. I've always said the top-end guys in any era would be top-end guys. you put Babe Ruth in today's day and age with today's technology, he's still going to be a stud. You put Shohei back then, he would still be a stud. You put, Nolan Ryan in any era, he's going to be really good. You put Greg Maddux in any era, he's going to be really good. The stars will always be stars, but it's that next tier up. It's the middle ground. It's the back end. It's the 17 through 25, now 26 guys on your roster who have now become studs. Lee Smith, right, would be a stud in any era. But then you look at the rest of the bullpen in that era, and they were sometimes just guys. Would they be making roster? They might make the Royals bullpen right now.
True.
But I think for the most part, that's where you see the biggest difference. It's not the stars or the studs. It's that the tiers down where the water level rises, in my opinion. When it comes to Caglione, we didn't talk to you, obviously, yesterday about the home run derby. Matt Strum, fun fact for you guys, Matt Strum has given up more home runs than Jeff Caglione, Cag's dad. Fun fact for you, 9-8. So maybe Matt Strum should have pitched to Cags, but I don't know if Q would have let him because lefty-lefty matchup. I don't know. What was your takeaway on Cags in the home run derby?
It was disappointing to see him go out in the first round because I really thought that he was hitting his stride. He was getting comfortable. You could tell he was anxious and had the nerves early on in the round because he's a guy that's up there that everybody wants to see swing the bat. There were a couple guys in the derby that did better than him, but I'm sure that people at Citizens Bank Park weren't necessarily looking forward to them
Wilson
swinging.
Contreras versus Cags.
Yeah, but even like Contreras, he's up there hitting 490 to left center field, and I thought he did a really good job playing off the crowd too. That was fun. You can like or dislike Wilson Contreras. He did a really good job of playing off the boos and everything like that. But for Caglione, I mean, if you're going to go out in the first round, at least he hit a triple decker there to go halfway up the third deck at Citizens Bank Park, which multiple reporters were saying, other than Ryan Howard, I don't recall anybody going to that level. Maybe Kyle Schwarber did not too long ago, but Caglione had some majestic-looking home runs out there, and I have no doubt that he's going to be a guy that year in and year out is going to be asked whether he's at 30 home runs or 10 home runs by the All-Star break, because he's got the home run derby look to him, and that's what it is now. It's the way it should be. It shouldn't be top 5 guys in home runs because you have some players that are not derby hitters that have 25 bombs, where Caglione, Munetaka Murakami's a home run hitter. He's been out for the last month or so with his injury.
What do you think the White Sox were thinking when they said, okay, this guy's been out and you've played, 2 games since you've been back from injury? Yeah, home run derby this thing.
Yeah, it's funny to me with baseball fans. I've never understood this fear of the derby. The biggest myth out there is that it affects the swing.
No, I meant injury-wise.
No, I know.
I didn't mean about...
No, I'm playing off of that, too, because, like with derby, too, the home run derby, right, going off the injury part of it, you can get hurt. Have we ever had anybody at the derby get hurt?
You know what?
I'm curious. I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't believe that we have. But I understand why fans do it. It's like, really, if my player who's coming off the injured list partakes in the home run derby and they re-aggravate that, how dumb is that? Maybe that you're, for a gimmick thing that I love, I think it's great for baseball, but as a fan, if we had Jack Caglione coming off injury and they were in first place in the Central and he competed and he hurt himself, I'd be furious about it. But that's always funny to me about the derby. Every single year we do this song and dance of, it's going to mess up their swing. We have zero evidence of a home run derby affecting people's swings. Like, there's this great article from Mike Petrillo back in 2021 about the myth that is affecting the swing. There have been guys that have performed poorly in the second half. There's also been guys that have performed better in the second half. There's no exact science of, this guy that's not a home run hitter went to the derby and then his numbers got worse in the second half.
It's only because Bobby Abreu came out that one time, and he's like the only dude who's talked about it. And for some reason, everyone took Bobby Abreu as the norm versus the outlier. By the way, I looked it up. Has anyone got hurt in home run derby? The first thing I see on Reddit is an outfielder has been injured in the home run derby when that kid got drilled.
Yeah. Those poor kids, too. They need to put, I get it'd be awesome to be a little kid out there, but that stuff is dangerous, man. That's why, too, they can't do aluminum bats. I know a couple players were like, let's give...
It'd be so awesome.
You'd hit the ball 550 feet, but those line drives, you've got 8-year-olds out there.
Well, even if the kid's off. Even
That's
no,
not safe.
but
the
even
fans in the stands.
the
yeah,
fans in the stands. I mean, think of that. You would have to.
It's not safe. That's a big reason. The line drives that Jordan Walker and Jack Caglione were hitting, if that was in the first row in right field, there's still not enough steam coming off of it where it's not going to hurt. Like if you don't have a glove,
Yeah.
and I'm very much against, if you're a certain age, you don't bring a glove.
What's the age? What's the cutoff?
I mean, I don't want to make anybody feel bad on the air, but I would say that I stopped bringing a glove to the ballpark like at 7 or 8 years old.
No, that's too harsh. I think like 12.
12? Okay.
I think 12.
There does need to be a transition period of like when the ball is hitting your way. Like you got to be able to either get out of the way or you got to try to catch it with your bare
hands.
Now, I would never be in a situation where there's a 110-mile-an-hour line drive in foul territory before the nets, of course, that I stuck my hand out. I mean, you're trying to get out of the way there. But if it's one of those high home runs,
yeah.
I threw a ball back once, and I didn't catch it, but threw it back and didn't have a glove at that time.
Why'd you throw it back?
Everybody around me was trying to throw it back.
Was that a Royals game?
Opening day, 2011. Luke Hochaver pitching. Jeff Mathis hit it.
Jeff Mathis hit a home run. Wow.
If it was that 2011 Angels team, so this would have been the year before
Mike Trout.
Pujols.
No, not Mike Trout.
It was an Angels team that was trying to think of the stars of that team. Torrey Hunter would have still been there, I believe.
Oh, I love that.
But no, if it was somebody a little bit more notable,
Erstad and
no, I think it was a little bit past that.
Oh yeah,
time,
it would have been way past that.
Yeah, Jeff Mathis,
Garrett
fly
Anderson,
ball, left field. My dad caught it, handed it to me, and it was freezing out there. And then everybody was chanting, "Throw it back!" So I threw it back, and Alex Gordon got it, threw it to the ball boy, then gave it to somebody else.
What'd your dad say?
I mean, he's fine. I mean, to me,
your dad gets the ball. Here you go, son.
Yeah.
And you're like, "Thanks for your present, Dad. I'm gonna chuck this thing."
Yeah, but I didn't show up to, and I was. I guess I would have been 12 at the time or 11 at the time. I didn't have a glove.
Do you wish you kept that ball?
No, it's way more fun to throw it back. To me, they cycle through 150 to 200 of these things per game.
Sure.
Like, what's the difference? Like, yeah, it's a home run ball. If it was somebody,
you didn't want a Jeff Mathis home run ball?
No,
didn't mean a lot to you.
No, the Royals lost that game. That was Melky Cabrera's first game there.
Yeah,
and it was a good outfield, but great seats and tossed it back. Gordon picked it up, threw it to the other side.
Darcy, age for you, but where gloves are no longer acceptable in your mind.
I think 12's a good age because then you're kind of aging out of like, if you're 7 or 8, you can bring a glove. 12, if you're 15, get a grip.
You're in high school at that point.
Yeah, what are you, a sophomore in high school?
I'll go 10. I'll meet you guys half. I'll say
12. You're still in middle school. That's like 7th grade.
If you
how
were
about
in
this? How about it's depending where you're sitting?
Sure.
That is, yes.
If you're in the upper deck behind home plate, you can't bring a glove.
You can't bring a glove. I'm sorry, you can't.
Those balls, those are easy to catch, Barry.
You're just bringing it to wear it at that point.
Okay.
Like you're not getting any action up there.
Let me bring this one to the table. Dudes that wear cleats or batting gloves or even NFL gloves to an NFL game.
I haven't seen those.
I don't
dudes.
get those.
I haven't seen those dudes.
Oh, I've seen those dudes.
You are a freak. People do that? People wear cleats to NFL games?
I've seen cleatage before. I've seen dudes wear like the diamond cutter gloves. I'm like, man.
See, but if you're one of those super fans that's recognized on TV all the time, that
sure.
Eagles guy, right?
Oh yeah,
that has the face painted. Might as well lean into it. You're getting airtime.
I guess at that point, yeah.
Super fans in general are a little
unique.
Yeah, unique is a perfect word.
Extremely
unique.
Unique. There we go. I think I had to get that one off my chest.
We have the etiquette of what to wear. See, I wear what you want to, just behave yourself. Is that maybe the best way to approach it?
Basically, what I've learned is wear what you want, but Jack Johnson's going to judge you.
What do you think?
Bring a glove.
Silently judge you.
Bring a glove to the game, but Jack's going to be sitting up in the media room, looking down, going, "That is a 37-year-old man with a glove. I'm judging you."
What about the guy that goes to Kaufman in like the Eagle suit with the glove, like the giant glove?
Oh no, that guy's tight. Yeah, that guy's cool.
That's kind of cool.
I like that guy.
Like I said, lean into it. If you're getting screen time,
yeah,
wear what you want to.
You're gonna do it.
I'll tell you what, wearing an Eagle suit in 100-degree heat with the humidity, oh, you deserve everything you get.
The Stones on that guy.
I didn't see anybody wearing anything too outlandish. Well, they good on Philadelphia giving people in the crowd gloves for the home run derby. That, I believe, is a safety measure.
And who would have thought Philly, of all cities, would be in for a safety measure?
Yeah,
I wouldn't expect them.
With the lineup that was there for the home run derby, it's better to be safe than sorry.
How many home run derbies do we believe Cags competes in? Because I don't think he's going to go Pete Alonso.
He shouldn't.
But I think he did enough to get asked back. It wasn't like a situation where he goes out and not trying to get shot this guy at all. But it wasn't like Moustakas, who was fine, but Moustakas never hit these mammoth shots. It was more these line drives, right? At least in the home run derby when he participated. Cags was hitting these mammoth ones when he connected. He started off slow, but I think he still did enough to get asked back.
I bet he'll be in it next year. To me, it comes down to how far you get into the Derby. If he would have gotten to the finals, he might say that's good enough for him. Just because, you do it so many times, it's the same stuff over and over again. So, in my opinion, if he does it again and he's eliminated in the first round, he might just say, okay, I'm good.
I'm done.
He goes and wins it. He might say, I'm good as well. I won the home run derby. I want to leave it at that. I'm not sure anybody's going to do what Pete Alonso did. But then again, Pete Alonso was doing, as much as we can dislike Pete Alonso, which maybe you don't anymore because he's in Baltimore and not with the New York Mets.
But also bleep the Orioles to an extent.
Yeah, I mean,
they still complain about 2015.
Oh,
more than anything.
Oh, I see what you to not like Pete Alonso. Yeah,
Baltimore can kick rocks.
My point is that Pete Alonso tried to do something that few baseball players were doing during the Derby. He tried to make it his thing.
Yes,
like in the slam dunk competition when you had guys that really leaned into it. Mac McClung now does it, but
Dominique Wilkins.
Yeah, this is going to become my thing, and nobody really latched on to it. He got more criticism than he did being embraced, but we know what he was doing. He was winning a lot of derbies. He was getting deep into the tournament, and then he fell short in Arlington. I don't believe he's been back in the derby since, but I don't know if Caglianone's going to go that. He doesn't strike me as a guy that will want to do that, but he needs to go out there and have a Josh Hamilton-esque home run derby. He needs to go have I'm trying to think who else, but Sammy Sosa in Milwaukee back in, 2000, where he's hitting the back glass at Miller Park. He needs to have one of those derbies maybe to be satisfied, but to me, he got like a taste of what's crazy is Contreras had multiple balls travel 480 feet. Not one person in that ballpark was doing anything. Like, you had the announcers going crazy.
Yeah.
But when Cags hit the back-to-back that were incredibly far, the crowd finally jolted to life. Maybe it's because a left-handed swing at the Derby just appears.
It's pure.
It's appealing compared to a right-handed hitter, but he probably saw that and went, damn, if I could have had one more round, I'm more locked in, I'm zoned in. And that's maybe what he's going to take away is, I got the nerves out of the way. When I do this again in the future, I'm not going to be nervous because I've done it before. And maybe we will see one of those ridiculous performances, depending on what the format will look like, of course.
I think the reason why with Alonso was the Salvador Perez situation, clearly, and also, which wasn't really his fault. Let's be real. That's the announcer's fault.
That's ESPN's fault for bringing him on.
And it became cheesy. He became Bryson DeChambeau, where it went from, this is my thing. Oh, that's kind of cool. That's unique. That's fun. And then it's like, let's go over the top. Let's show me just ripping balls nonstop in the batting cages, and didn't he wear like a polar bear outfit or
in a
giant chain?
He was taking BP, which they do. They take BP down in the tunnel before the Derby.
It just seemed,
but he was locked in. He was like meditating.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was a bit. Like it went from
he was leaning into it.
I get it, but it seemed too much. It seemed too much.
I believe he wanted it to be too much. I believe he wasn't doing it to be like, everybody's going to think I'm really cool here. I believe he was doing it to go, people are going to take pictures of this and remember. And what do we remember from those derbies? We remember Pete Alonso.
Okay, good call. I do think Cags, he'll do a couple more. I think he did enough to get asked back. I think that he'll want to do at least one or two more. His dad might need to join the bullpen.
He was throwing fast.
And he was hitting corners.
I wonder, too, next go-around if he has a Royals coach
I
throw
think your
MVP.
first one you do your dad.
Yeah.
Because you never know if you're going to do it again, and you want to have that.
Harper did it and won with his dad throwing MVP, so it's possible. But I saw the way that I keep bringing up Contreras, but and also Jordan Walker had his bullpen coach or BP coach throwing him for the Derby, and they know where to put it exactly every single time. It's almost automatic. It's like a machine.
Yeah.
It's because it's their job.
Yeah.
They have to.
It's a good call.
They cannot be bad at doing that. So I see why people pick their dads. Like that's a cool thing to do for Jack Caglione. But I thought he was throwing missiles in there.
Yeah.
And maybe Cags told him, hey, I need you to put a little bit behind it. And because good velocity, my swing, that ball is going to go to the third deck.
Yeah, we'll take a break. We'll come back, talk a little more baseball on the other side. I do want to talk about the World Cup at least a little bit with you as well, Jack, as Spain moves on, and there's a game again today, another semifinals, the Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Jason Anderson here, and the world's biggest soccer tournament coming to a conclusion this weekend. On Kalshi, you've been able to, and you can continue to trade every match from the opening stage all the way to the final. We know one team that's going to be in the final. We find out today with England and Argentina who is going to be matching up coming up this weekend. England right now the favorite, trading at 54%, meaning if they win, you're almost doubling your money. Maybe you like Argentina, you're going to more than double your money. Maybe you like Argentina early, but then England to win late. If that happens, you can trade out of your position. You can trade into your position. That's the beautiful part about Kalshi. On Kalshi, you're trading against peers in a live market, meaning there's no house. And as the probability changes, you can buy in and out of your position. And for a limited time, download the Kalshi app and use code JASON810, JASON810 to get $10 when you trade 10. That's code JASON810. It's on Kalshi, Kalshi. Kalshi, trade the beautiful game.
Welcome back to the Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Jack Johnson. What will make the second half of the Royals season a successful one? We know what happened in the first half. We know what expectations were heading into the season. We know they're not making the playoffs. We know it'll be a disappointment to an extent no matter what. But now that's a sunk cost. You are where you are. What will make the second half, which I always find saying second half, but post All-Star break, a successful one for the Royals?
It goes without saying that the production and the continued evaluation of the younger guys in the lineup is important. Not really sure you need to do that with Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, he's young, but he's Bobby Witt Jr. We know what he's going to be. We know he's one of the top players in this sport. You want to see them get healthier. I believe a big goal of this second half is getting Garcia back in the lineup, Vinny Pasquantino back out there and playing well. That way, when you go into the offseason, what the Royals should not do is say, let's say they finish 10 games over 500 in the second half. They have a productive second half in terms of the win-loss record. They play better baseball, cleaner baseball. It's more enjoyable to watch. What they cannot do is say, oh, well, that's who they were. Therefore, we just need to add a couple of pieces there. You need to take whatever you get in the second half and be as aggressive as you've ever been in the offseason. You got to pull the trigger on some of these moves that you've failed to make over the last couple of off seasons. I thought last year was that exact season where the front office went, we're only a couple of pieces away. We got the pitching staff, we got the bullpen, we've got the lineup. We just need to go add an average bat, a league average bat for the outfield to go along with the platoon in center field and Caglione in right. They got Isaac Collins. People probably don't know this by now, but Isaac Collins has been a league average bat.
Yeah,
he's been much better of late. Therefore, now he's a league average bat. If you would have told me in the first half of the season Isaac Collins would be exactly league average, I'd say, well, the Royals are doing pretty well. And Lane Thomas is above league average. Royals are doing pretty well. It's been the pitching staff, of course. So take what you get in the second half. If Caglione finishes with 30 bombs and Michael Garcia comes back and plays really well, and Vinny does, and Massey and Nick Lofton have a good platoon at second base, and Jensen really improves, you still have to go in the offseason and go, we have to prepare for that fall off of some of these guys. We have to prepare for the rotation to take a hit. We have to prepare for the bullpen to not be as good. That's where I believe they got caught flat-footed here, where they believed some of these guys in the bullpen were much better than they really were, or the guys in the rotation were much better than they really were. And some of these guys are not getting any younger. I mean, if you keep Walker and Lugo, okay, but they need to be the number 3 and number 4 next year. You need to take the pressure off of them. And what goes without saying, too, to use that for the second time in this spiel, they need to go get a number 1. They don't have a number 1. They don't have one in AAA. They don't have one in AA. Their future number 1 in a David Shields or Kendry Churia, they're years away. So you got to go out in free agency and get a number 1, a workhorse, a 200-inning guy, or you need to trade for one. Cole Reagan's being out for a chunk of the season, Bubic being a free agent, Ryan Bergert recovering from Tommy John, Avila and Kolek are not number 1s, neither are Lugo, Walker, or Noah Cameron. That's going to be priority number 1, getting a workhorse. Getting a number 2 wouldn't hurt either, depending on what the money would be. Maybe you sign a number 1, trade for a number 2, and then piece together your bullpen here. Lineup-wise, yeah, I'd love to go out there and replace maybe Salvador Perez with a bat, an everyday bat, a DH. The Royals rarely do that, though. Last time they were interested in a DH only was Anthony Santander. We're glad they didn't give him that type of contract. Salvi can be back next year, but you need to have more production than what he's given you. You need that in the middle of the order to go along with everything that you've gotten in the first half. But I believe that second half is getting good, clean play. I'll always take that no matter what the record is.
Sure.
I want to see consistent, good play. I'm not in for that we'll lose every single game so we can get the number 1 pick. The lottery changes that, right? I want good odds, of course, but I want clean baseball and some of these younger guys to continue to produce, get better. But then the front office to have that wake-up call of, yeah, second half was better than the first half. The bar was pretty low, but this offseason has to be the best offseason we've ever had since taking over for the organization.
I think it's such a good call, and why I am slightly nervous is if they do have a better second half where you're right, they go 10 games above 500, and then they sit back and go, no, we're fine. That's who they are. The first half doesn't matter. And this team has been built on outlier seasons, and I don't want them to take an outlier 60-game stretch and say that's now the norm. This team has shown you time and time again this is who they are. Your Isaac Collins one is interesting. I was going to bring that up either way, so I'm glad you mentioned that. He went on a really nice stretch to end the first half of the season. What does he need to do to be your everyday left fielder going forward, or is he already pinned in for the next couple seasons in KC?
I'm sure he'll be here for the next couple of seasons, but this is the exact reason you go continue to upgrade the team. Isaac Collins plays well for you in the second half, continues the trend that he's been on. You can take that and say, we love what Isaac Collins provides us. But a team like the Milwaukee Brewers got good production from Isaac Collins and still viewed him as more of a utility piece. My goal for the offseason would be go get your everyday left fielder. Collins hasn't even been an everyday player since going on this recent hot stretch. He's kind of been in and out of the lineup, and maybe that's given him better numbers. Maybe that's added to some of the success. I'd go out there, though, and get an Ian Happ. Or I'd go out there and get a Randy Arozarena or a Seiya Suzuki to be your left fielder in DH. And Isaac Collins becomes what your Nick Lofton has been, where he can play left, he can play second. Maybe you teach him to play a little bit of third. Maybe you teach him to play right field to go alongside Nick Lofton on this roster as well. Depth is vitally important. We all know that now. I mean, with the amount of guys that went down due to injury, depth is so vitally important to be a successful team. But those teams, as you pointed out, outlier seasons that take that and go, well, he can do that again.
Yeah.
Right? He can go out there and do that exact same season. Those teams fall short. You want to upgrade that. Now, with the Royals being more of a small market team, it's not that you need to go on a spending spree and be top 5 in payroll, but they got to go get a legitimate bat. They got to go get somebody to put 5th, 6th, 7th in that order. Probably not 7th. I'm talking more so 4th, 5th, and 6th. You go out there and get that everyday bat. Isaac Collins can give you 120 games next season. Nick Lofton can give you 100 to 110 games. But you're playing a lot of these guys in marginal roles, I guess I would say. You're playing them sparingly. And you go out there and give that contract that, hell, it might hurt you 3 years down the road, but you're paying for what they are the next 2 years. And you might see a much better offense. You might see a much better team. I will say, though, you go out, if it was between choosing a left fielder and choosing adding pitching, I would add the pitching because you got to lean into your strength here. The Royals' strength is pitching, and they've gotten away from that this season.
Would you rather, if you only do one, upgrade left field, and that moves Isaac Collins to that platoon role, or upgrade center field, and Isaac Collins stays as your everyday-ish left fielder?
It's easier to upgrade left field.
Agreed that there's more options.
Yeah, there's more options, and center field's really, really hard to do. I would still say, I mean, you got to look to upgrade in center field. I don't have it off the top of my head. I'd have to look on Spotrac of who the free agent center fielders are. But it wouldn't surprise me if they went with more of a platoon look again in center field if they were to land that everyday left fielder. There's just a couple of guys I really like in that free agent draft class that could be within the Royals' price range. Lane Thomas is going to be on a different team coming up in a couple of weeks. That's my guess. I mean, I wouldn't hate it if he was back on a 1-year deal. I'm not sure he would take it, but I wouldn't hate it if he was back in a platoon role and you found somebody, maybe not Kyle Isbell, that could be your strong-sided platoon in center field, and then you went out there and got that Ian Happ or that Randy Arozarena or Suzuki in left field. I'm not saying you need to teach Isaac Collins how to play center field. He's not been that great defensively in left, so that seems like a bit of a stretch. But I would go for more of a focus on the bat is maybe the way I should have taken this angle. They need to find a good bat more so than a good defender for the outfield. Randy Arozarena is not a good defensive left fielder. He's a really good bat. And that's somebody that I believe would really pop in this lineup. Ian Happ can play a little bit all over. He's had success with Gold Gloves, a multiple-time Gold Glove winner, I believe. That's somebody that seems a little bit more royal, and that's the angle I would take here. Center field, yes, is a high-value position, and you want to have an everyday player there, But if it's not there in free agency and it's not there through trade, you don't need to overthink it. You don't need to say, well, we need to have Collins in left field. We have to get a center fielder. I'd rather them just look at the offensive numbers they could provide you and go that angle rather than, oh, this guy plays really good defense in center field, but the bat is okay. They have enough of those guys.
Well, that was why I was a little enthused maybe by Zion, because that's bat first. That pick's bat first. Bat and running versus glove, from what we've heard, right? That was why I thought it was a little different. I understand that you can say reach, you can say a lot of different situations and things, but honestly, Booth would have been the more traditional Royals pick. Let's go with speed, let's go with defense and athleticism. Rose, I'm not saying is not unathletic. He's very athletic as well, but that's a guy who I would probably say his bat's first, batter legs, and glove is down the list, right? So for me, I almost thought that was a change of what we've actually seen in the past with the Royals draft strategy.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a little bit of a different philosophy with Brian Bridges and the guys that he identifies, the guys that he really likes. I will say with Zion Rose, though, right now, the numbers would tell you he's more bat first. He can run a little bit. He stole a ton of bases at Louisville. The glove does need to come around because when I look at top 10 picks in the draft, the great organizations out there get the combination, right? And I'm not saying I would turn it down if you were to press a button and say Zion Rose will hit 280 with 20 bombs a year and he's a 115 OPS plus guy, right? That's a good bat to have. And the Royals would quite honestly take that from an everyday center fielder. If he's poor defensively, though, and these other guys that were picked after him turn out to be those well-rounded players, those J.J. Weatherholts who can do just about everything, great defensively, great hitter, can set the table at the top of the order, then you'd be a little bit more let down. I just want the kid to be a success, so I'll take whatever he is, but there really needs to be that point of emphasis of making sure that glove develops, that he can be somebody. I'm not asking for Lorenzo Cain in center field. I mean, that's really shooting for the stars here. But they need to be somebody who can run it down gap to gap. They can be somebody that when they're out there, they might be one of the better top 10 defensive center fielders in the game and a really good bat. He's the 6th overall pick after all. Yeah. If he was the 3rd rounder, I'd be saying, yeah, I'll take the bat. But they do need to develop all aspects of his game because this was a reach and this was a riskier pick when they had safer picks still on the board.
So we mentioned Isaac Collins for second half. That's who I think I would tab as the guy that I'm looking at to, can he be more of an everyday player? Which if he was the ending stretch of the first half, I'd say, yeah, that can be your everyday 7th, 8th, 9th hitter in your lineup, and you're content with that. Who else are you looking at? And it could be on the pitching side as well. Is there a guy that you're really looking at of, I want to see what he does to end the season?
Yeah, I'll go really off the beaten path here because everybody will say Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen, Luis Avila, Stephen Kolek. A guy I'm going to be looking at because the Royals need to start getting into that mode of who do we want back in our bullpen next year. Right?
Please say the name. I think we might say the same name.
Well, I'll have you go first, and I'll just nod my head yes or no.
Is it Beck Way?
No.
Oh,
but
okay.
He is somebody I gotta look at here because he seems very Steven Cruz to me. Where when Cruz first broke into the league, numbers weren't there. He was all over the place. You got 98, 99 with that movement. You got to make it work. Somebody's really got to work hard with Beck Way so that he can become a reliable arm. He's been much better than I thought he would be. He's somebody I'm looking at for sure. Steven Cruz is another guy. I'm looking at Randy Dobnak.
Wow.
Okay, so the reason I'm getting at Randy Dobnak here is you look across baseball and the way that teams assemble a bullpen. Every once in a while, you'll see that team that has a guy that hasn't been pitching for 3 or 4 years, but they suddenly found it again. Cam Boozer for the Tampa Bay Rays.
Yeah.
Somebody that was out of baseball. He had quite a journey. I mean, Ryan Lefevre tells this story phenomenally every single time he's out there on the mound. But Randy Dobnak was somebody like Connor Siebold and like Easton McGee, who they acquired yesterday, that you say, well, why are they acquiring this guy? And on the surface, they need depth in AAA. But he's somebody that when he was pitching 4 to 5 years ago for Minnesota, he always had great command and he had really good movement. And honestly, in the few outings we've seen him, he's had some really good movement on stuff. And he's 32?
31 is what I'm looking at.
31.
Yeah.
So, like, with a reliever, I don't want them to be 38 or 39 years old, but he's 31. And if Randy Dobnak goes out there and he becomes a serviceable piece for the bullpen, it's not that you go in the next year saying, we got to make sure Randy Dobnak's in this bullpen.
Sure.
But he could provide a unique role in the way that when Alex Lang was signed this past offseason, it was, well, let's see if he works out. He became a closer at some point. If Randy Dobnak was your long reliever next year, or this guy that could be a spot start, that's something you got to find out in the second half. So, again, I wanted to throw out a weird name because I know nobody's talking about it.
No,
that.
I would not have talked about or Jose Quas being back now.
No, for sure. And nobody should be doing that. But to me, this is a guy that's going to get some starts in the second half. This is a guy that's probably going to be, unless he just blows up the rest of the way. There's not a lot of arms to turn to in AAA Omaha. But he's somebody that if he gets up to 40 innings by the end of the year, and the numbers are somewhat good, and he's spinning it pretty well, he's got good movement. His velocity is actually back to where it was 5 years ago. It's like 94, 93, 94. That's something I'm willing to just look, because the bullpen needs to be a bunch of dart throws. Just pitch black darkness, you're throwing dart throws, or you're just throwing darts. And if Randy Dobnak turns into just a fine guy in the bullpen, well, that's one less role you have to worry about next year. He might be off this roster in a month or two. I have no idea. But that's one of those interesting points where the Royals acquired him for a reason. I mean, it's not like they just said, well, Randy Dobnak, though, let's just get another arm here. There clearly was some reason they thought that he had something left in the tank. I believe he'll get a couple of starts. I believe he'll be pitching in long relief, and let's see where it goes. To me, when they signed him, I went, he's probably like 36 now, so I don't believe he's going to have much.
I thought the same thing,
he's
too.
31. He's 31. Wow. You could maybe get one of those dart throws to work out, and from what I saw in the 2 outings he's been out there, there's something at least to like. He could always implode. It could always get really bad from here on out, but that's one of those guys I'm just a little bit more intrigued by.
Yeah. Take the Bailey Falter, Mitch Spence role, please.
Yeah.
That's what
Why not?
You're looking at. Jack, have a safe travel back to Wichita. I know it's such a long way for you.
Yeah, I gotta head out now, or else I'm not gonna make it in time.
So we'll take a break. We'll come back. The Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
All right, man, if you're out there and you happen to be suffering from erectile dysfunction, then it is something that should be addressed, can be addressed with Heartland Men's Health. It is something that can cause breakups and arguments and depression and even contribute to divorce. And Heartland Men's Health can help you. Maybe you've tried the pills or the herbals and they have failed. Well, if that happens, Heartland Men's Health, they have treatments that work, including treatments with success rates well over 90%. Heartland Men's Health, successfully treating men in the Kansas City area. Simply schedule a consult with Heartland Men's Health today. Your initial visit, $99. That includes a medical consult with a licensed medical provider, T and PSA test, and if medically advised a test dose. And if the test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit, it's free. If it does, there you go. They have an expert staff with 3 locations to serve you. Overland Park, Independence between Blue Springs and Lee Summit, and North Kansas City. Call them today at 844-447-6600. Tell them you heard about it right here on Sports Radio 810 WHB, 844-447-6600, or visit heartlandmenshealth.com.
Wrapping up the first hour of the Zone right here, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Thank you to Jack Johnson talking some Royals right there. And who to look out for in the second half of the season. That was an interesting one he brought up with Randy Dobnak. I still think a guy like Beck Way is intriguing to me. Can Erseg figure it out? I mean, at this point, Erseg's been so bad, but he's under contract. You need him to figure to see what you have going forward.
He's going to be on the roster whether fans like it or not next year because of the team control.
Correct. And so I want to see that. And what can Avila do? Is Lewin Avila a guy who could be your fifth starter? Or is he a guy who's more of a, let's keep him stretched out to Omaha? I think that's intriguing to me.
I'd also say Michael Massey's the guy that I was looking at, saying, can he be the second baseman next year, or they got to go find somebody else?
Monty next.
Jeff Montgomery is brought to you by ImageNet Consulting. From IT to audiovisual to secure print, ImageNet Consulting keeps Kansas City business moving. Visit ImageNet.com.
Welcome back to the Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sterling Holmes joined now by Jeff Montgomery. Monty, how we doing?
Doing great. Enjoying the All-Star break. Looking forward to the second half.
Yeah, I guess we should start here. Let's start with the All-Star game, going all the way back to the Home Run Derby, which feels like such a long time ago. Just, let's be real, 2 days ago. But seeing Jack Caglione do what he did, 8 home runs, including the mammoth shot to the third deck in Philly. What was your takeaway from the Home Run Derby, especially going back to the swings and not just the timed?
Yeah, I thought, it's great for Jack to represent the Royals, great for him to have the opportunity to be on that big stage. And I think it'll just really be positive from him from a career standpoint moving forward. We know he's got tremendous power. I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have a number of home run derbies in his future. I'm sure there were a lot of nerves involved. Going back, my first All-Star game, you're around all these superstar players, and you're just somewhat overwhelmed. And then certainly, after all the, the excitement of, sharing a locker room and all those things, now you got to go out and perform on the big stage and a lot of pressure. But I thought it was really good for him. I know he would have loved to have won the thing or even, made it further into the rounds. But nevertheless, he was selected. He was able to perform. And, again, I think the beginning of a lot of really good things for him and his all-star future.
Yeah, and then when it comes to the timed versus the outs, which one did you like better? I see. I'm personally, Monty, a guy who likes the switch up every 4 to 5 years because it makes it fresh, new. It's not like you had this historical precedent set so long ago. This is how you have to have the home run derby set up. How did you like the outs versus or swings versus the timed?
Well, I kind of like the swings better because I think, especially as you get toward the end, guys aren't just like, out of gas because they're on full tilt for as long as they can. I think it's more of a paced event. I know the All-Star games that I was fortunate enough to play in, the Home Run Derby was always a highlight. The game was fun, but the Home Run Derby to me and seeing guys like Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Bonds and Cal Ripken, you do those things, and they did it based on swings rather than time, and I just thought that was a good way to do it. But I'm glad they got back to that. But I'm with you. Change is always good. It creates some excitement, creates some interest, and never gets boring.
Yeah. When you had your All-Star game, any bleeps, any guys, you're like, you know what? All the 95% are cool dudes, but there's a couple guys I just don't want to be around right now. You don't have to name their names, but were there any of those where you're like, why are you having beef with me right now? Why are you not taking this, or why are you taking this so seriously?
No, as a matter of fact, I would say it's probably the opposite. Guys that I maybe didn't really care for too much as opponents. Once you're in the locker room, you always hear people talking about, hey, this is a guy that you love him when he's on your own team, but you hate him when you're playing against him. I kind of found that to be true with a number of guys, and one probably stands out more than anyone, Albert Bell. Here's a guy that had a terrible reputation. Not a lot of people really liked him as far as his personality is concerned, but he turned out to be just a genuine, really nice guy, and I thought it was really interesting to kind of find out some positives as opposed to having some disappointments.
Yeah, it's nice to see firsthand and not just other people's words. Do you wish the game still mattered? Because obviously when you played, the game mattered. That was home field advantage for the World Series. Obviously that's not the case anymore. Do you wish that was still the case, or are you glad they switched that?
Well, actually, when I played, it didn't matter. It's strictly exhibition. Then they went for a number of years. I think after the 1 year when there was a tie, they decided, well, let's make this game a little bit more meaningful and, get the home field for the postseason. And I think for an exhibition game, it shouldn't have such a dramatic impact on something such as a postseason home field situation. I'm glad that it's an exhibition game. You can see some guys go out and do some fun things. I go back to when I was a kid. I followed the Cincinnati Reds and the Big Red Machine, and it was interesting because the Reds were not allowed to wear anything other than just pure black spikes. So your shoes had to have whatever your maker was, your Adidas, your Nike, or whoever it was, you had to color them in black if you were playing for the Cincinnati Reds. And all my players, my George Fosters, my Johnny Benches, my Joe Morgans, my Pete Rose, my Tony Perez's, these guys all had to wear just the plain Reds uniform. It's a beautiful uniform, but just solid black shoes, right? But during the All-Star game, they were allowed to have their shoes they could be red shoes with white stripes or white shoes with red stripes. And it was just, I always remember that being such a difference when I was watching those players from the old Big Red Machine play in the All-Star game, because it was just so different to see them wearing shoes that had stripes on them. But that's why I think like the All-Star game should be something that's fun. It should be an exhibition and allow guys to go out and show some color a little bit and do some things maybe that's a little bit out of the ordinary, like I mentioned, with regards, to wearing a little bit different uniform types or whatever it might be. But just those little things to me, I think are good. I think an All-Star game, as a player, certainly it means something to you. I mean, there's some personal, I guess you want to be proud of being an All-Star, but then when you perform, you want to be proud of the performance, and it certainly matters to you.
Jeff Montgomery is our guest. How cool was it seeing Michael Wacha pitch with Bobby Witt Jr. playing shortstop? It's always fun seeing that sort of two guys for Kansas City being showcased, even in a bad season. Nice seeing them get their flowers.
Yeah, it was great to hear Bobby having the comments regarding Michael Wacha during the broadcast itself, and I think that's one thing that kind of makes it enjoyable. That's why I say you couldn't do that if it was a game that had a lot of meaning and impact on, say, a postseason home field situation. So that's why I say it's fun, and we get to see some things that are a little bit different. I think with MLB being more involved in many, many more teams' broadcasts, such as our broadcast here in Kansas City, you're going to see a lot more really special elements during broadcasts moving forward. I think we're just kind of the tip of the iceberg as far as the innovation and the technology and all the equipment available to make the broadcast interesting and exciting and something the fans can really look forward to.
Yeah. Do you have any things you can say right now, or is it more under wraps still?
No, we're using some of it in Kansas City already. The wire cam going on the third base side, the drone, for example. I've heard so many people talk about how impressive that drone is. We can mic up players, for example, during batting practice. We can mic up players during their side sessions in the bullpens, which we've done all of those particular elements during our broadcast. But I think it's just going to expand more and more as we move forward.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question in regards to Bobby Witt Jr. How many starts does he have in the All-Star game going forward? If I set the line at 4.5, you taking the over, you taking the under? Because it's very hard to have a lot of starts at shortstop. You got to almost go back to Derek Jeter as the last to have consecutive starts in the AL at shortstop.
Well, I won't go consecutive, but I'll say he's going to have he'll have the over with regards to total starts. But there's so many great young players in the game today. The next Bobby Witt Jr. is just right around the corner, and before you know it, Bobby Witt Jr. will be in his 30s, and there'll be some 23-year-old that's getting all the spotlight and playing in a big market like either Boston or New York or somewhere that's going to get a lot of people voting for them. So I think the starts may not be consecutive, but he's still going to get a lot of starts. He's put himself on the map nationally, and it's just something that's really fun to watch. It takes a little time. I mean, we saw Bobby Witt Jr. here, really become a star before really the national spotlight hit him. And I go back to the All-Star game, and I guess it's 2024, I think it was, when Bobby Witt Jr. almost won the Home Run Derby. That was one thing to me that really accelerated his popularity. I think the other thing was the World Baseball Classic this year. I think that really opened a lot of people's eyes about how really spectacular and gifted Bobby Witt Jr. is as a player.
Yeah, I think the World Baseball Classic did a world of good becoming America's shortstop. It put almost the Gunnar Hendersons to the side. You look at New York right now, it's not like Anthony Volpe is out here doing a lot of things at short for the Yankees. Obviously, you have George Lombard coming up. Last year, it was the hot new Jacob Wilson. Jacob Wilson came back down to earth, and the constant has been Bobby Witt Jr. Jeff Montgomery is our guest. Before we start talking a little more Royals in depth as far as what the second half of the season might look like, I've always wondered this. As a former pitcher, are you surprised there aren't more knuckleballers? Like, there are no knuckleballers anymore in Major League Baseball. What happened?
Well, I think there's just such a emphasis on velocity. It's hard for players who don't have velocity to ever get the opportunity to play professionally. They're eliminated from the mix before really it even starts. I think the next knuckleballer we're going to see is someone who's made it as a pitcher, for example, traditionally, and then there's been some reason, whether it be lack of performance or some injury situation, where, hey, he's got this great knuckleball, but we've never really seen it. And then once he breaks that out of his back pocket, suddenly people are like, hey, this is something we can maybe take advantage of and use a kid who has some experience in professional baseball as a traditional pitcher, but he's got a great knuckleball. Let's expose him, see how it goes. But I'm surprised there aren't any knuckleballers in baseball. They're somewhat of a different breed. They're very interesting, but I mean, I'll go back to the Tim Wakefield of MLB, just how valuable they can be to a team because of their durability and their ability to go out and give you so many innings. But yeah, I think that's the next knuckleballer will be somebody who's been converted from a traditional pitcher who's already got some professional experience, because it's so hard for someone who doesn't have that velocity to get into the game nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you look at R.A. Dickey. R.A. Dickey was an example of what you're alluding to, of he was a four-seam guy, had an arm injury, and then became a knuckleballer. And I feel like that's so valuable, especially in today's day and age when velocity is king. You throw a knuckleballer out there, all of a sudden, that just disrupts the timing of the hitters. I don't know. I've always been surprised that we don't see more knuckleballers. How did you feel about the Royals draft? Now that it's over, we know what we see. I know it's really, really difficult because baseball, unlike the NFL, if you draft a guy, odds are they're going to sign with that team, and you know what they are going to sign for. There's overslot, underslot. You have a whole bunch of behind-the-scenes things that might make you not draft a guy if you are a specific team. But overall, as we sit here on July 15th, not seeing these dudes play any games in professional baseball, how did you feel about the Royals draft?
Well, I'll have to be honest with you. I have no idea who the Royals drafted. I really I don't focus on amateur baseball at all. I don't even really focus much on minor league baseball. I've got so much on my plate following Major League Baseball. I just don't have time to follow up and study. Now, if I had my son next to me, he could tell you all about the Royals draft, and he would probably say thumbs up, thumbs down. I don't know, but I would be lying if I said I had any opinion whatsoever on the Royals draft. So we'll put that on hold for about 5 years. We'll see if any of these guys that they picked last week make it to the big leagues.
Yeah, I think you and I are about lockstep. I like the draft. I think it's fun. I get excited, and then I forget about it for 3 years until we see him and go, oh, yeah, I forgot. He was drafted 6th overall. That's pretty cool. Or he doesn't make, and you go, oh, man, what happened to the guy that was drafted 6th overall? I think you and I are pretty lockstep there. Jeff Montgomery is our guest. What will make the second half of the Royals season a successful one? Obviously, first half didn't go the way that we all expected it to go. Injuries played a part. Underperformance played a part. A lot of things went into this. But what will make the second half a successful one?
I think if they find some players who are able to help them in the future. I think the second half of the season is going to be playing for next year. Unfortunately, where the Royals are in the standings, it's essentially going to be impossible for them to make up enough games. And what do they have, like 63 or 4 games left on the schedule? There's just not enough time to make up enough ground to even make it an interesting September for this team, just based on where they are. But I know one thing, as a player, you go out there every day, you perform at the highest level you possibly can, and then you kind of let the cards fall where they may with regards to the standings. And but where they're in the standings is not going to matter on how they prepare, how they perform. It's going to really it's going to be a matter of where they end up as far as confidence going into next season. You just see this happen year after year where you have a team that is expected to be a contender. They don't. And second half of the season, you're kind of playing for the future. You're playing for opportunities for young players to get opportunities to show what they can do, players who get called up. I think the biggest thing that the Royals can do is one, get healthy and have a lot of guys, particularly on the pitching staff, finish their season healthy and have a good idea of what you're going to get from them, say, in 2027 and moving forward.
Do you have a specific name or two that you're looking at that this would be beneficial for the Royals? For me, I think Isaac Collins, obviously traded last year with the Brewers. That was the Angel Zerpa trade. He had a really rough start for the first, 75% of the first half of the season, but he really ended this heading into the All-Star break on a very high note. Obviously, he's under contract. The Royals, I think, would love for him to be the left fielder moving forward, but he has to earn that. I don't think he'd earned it the first half of the season, but for me, seeing that stretch to end the first half, it gave me a little confidence. That might be a guy that I'm looking at for the second half of the season if he can continue.
Yeah, I think he's a good example of somebody you want to see continue to improve and feel more comfortable. He's been much more productive offensively. I think he's made some improvements defensively, and a good example of a young player that you have under control that you want to feel good about that position going into the off season, knowing that you've taken care of, say, left field, for example. I think like Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen are two real good examples of players who have really been on a little bit different timetables as far as they're getting established in the big leagues. But Carter Jensen's essentially hit the ground running. He had some bumps in the road early in the year, but he's corrected those. Now he's really back to what we saw from him last September. I think, Jack Caglione came back last September after his hamstring injury. He performed better. He carried into spring training. He carried into the season, and he's been a much more consistent performer with the bat as well. So I think just a lot of those younger players that you feel like are probably going to be part of your future moving forward, just get them to the level where you kind of know what to expect. And that's the hardest thing about baseball is you mentioned the NFL draft. If you draft a guy in the first round, he's probably going to be an impact player immediately. And it's just so different in baseball where you have to allow these players to get knocked off the horse a number of times, climb back on, get knocked off, climb back on. And then eventually you feel like, hey, from all these times that you've had to climb back on the horse, you've learned something from it. And now you're a more consistent, what you call established Major League Baseball player where you pretty much know what you're going to get from season to season. I'll use Michael Wacha, for example, just one of the more consistent guys in all of baseball. Maybe not a dominant performer, but a guy that has – you can pretty much pencil in every time Michael Wacha pitches. He's going to give you 6 innings or more. He's going to give up 3 runs or less. And you're just going to build around players like that who you know what you're going to get from them. And that's a hard thing about being a younger team. You just have so many players you can't pencil in at the beginning of the season. For example, what Isaac Collins is going to do.
Yeah.
You know more like what a Bobby Witt Jr. is going to do. And then one of those players advances and makes that next step to be that consistent, established major league player. That's when you have a team that you can build around and you can kind of know where you're going to be and have a real good chance. And that's to me, that's really what the team would love to be able to do moving forward.
Hey, Monty, so obviously you were very dominant in the bullpen, but the bullpen for the Royals has been a major letdown, a little bit of a surprise with some of the guys that were expected to be, linchpins, guys that were supposed to, even thrive in the 7th and 8th innings, guys like Lucas Erceg, guys like Matt Strahm. How mental is it when you are in the bullpen? Let's say you have a few bad outings in a row. How hard is it for that to not snowball? Because you look up, you see your ERA is a 5, 6, 7. If you're a starter, you're going, 6, 7 innings. You could change that in a start or two. When you're in the bullpen, that takes 8, 9, 10 different outings before you can try and see that really, really change. Why do you think the bullpen has been such a issue this season, and how mental is it versus maybe other positions?
I think big picture-wise, the biggest element or the biggest issue this team's had to deal with is when the major league leader in saves last year, Carlos Estevez, didn't have really a full spring training, wasn't 100% with regards to his velocity coming in. I remember second game of the year, Michael Wacha goes out against the Atlanta Braves. The Royals had a 2-0 lead going into the 9th inning. Unfortunately, it fell apart. And the line drive off the foot eventually a walk-off grand slam. It was a 6-run ninth inning for the Atlanta Braves and a walk-off win on the second day of the year. Estevez goes on the injured list and hasn't pitched since. To me, that was really kind of the writing on the wall that it's going to be a difficult road ahead, because now suddenly everyone has to move up a notch in that bullpen. Your anchor, who was the major league leader in saves last year, is no longer part of your mix in the bullpen. So everyone moves up one notch on that totem pole, right? So your Lucas Ursegs, your Matt Schroms, all the guys who you had planned on being leverage guys, maybe 6th inning, 7th inning, 8th inning guys. Suddenly they're 9th inning, 8th inning, 7th inning guys, and it puts you in a situation where you're rolling the dice a whole lot more than if you have that anchor that's going to really solidify how things are going to work in your bullpen. And I wish I had a better way or knew more about how to explain why it's so different, but it's just really different when guys are put in those higher leverage situations without somebody behind them, knowing that they can come in and bail them out of a difficult situation. And that's really, to me, that's when the bullpen really became the big question mark. And unfortunately, that's kind of played itself out. I remember, and this goes back to probably maybe the end of May. I looked at numbers last season when the Royals had a lead after 8 innings. They were 73 wins and no losses, right? Wow. So only team in baseball that didn't lose a game when leading after 8 innings. After the first couple months of the season, we had already lost 6 baseball games that we were leading going into the 9th inning, right? So that's devastating to a team, and not just to the psyche of the guys out in the bullpen, but also to the other players on your roster, because it creates what I call the hangover effect, where you lose a tough game like that. You need 3 outs to close out a game, and you're celebrating a win. You don't do it, you lose the game, and then for the next 2 or 3 days, it's almost like that hangover effect is having the impact negatively on your team. And we just saw that happen so many times early in the year. Tough to recover from that.
Yeah, basically every day is just me after July 4th. I get it, Monty. It's hard for the team. Jeff Montgomery, really appreciate it, man. Monty, get some golf in today for us, please.
I'm getting ready to tee off shortly.
Love that. We'll take a break. We'll come back right here. The Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Want to see more of The Zone? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hey guys, Sean Kellerman here with Kansas Nation. Be sure you're locked into kansasnation.com all week. Rock Chalk Sports, 4 to 6 p.m. each day, where Daniel Courtwright and I talk all things KU. We preview Jayhawk football opponents for the 2026 season and hear opinions on all things KU from people in the Lawrence community, including Henry Greenstein from the Lawrence Journal-World and Shreyas Latta from the Kansas City Star. It's Rock Chalk Sports with Sean Kellerman and Daniel Courtwright on kansasnation.com. Check us out live on Facebook and YouTube as well. Kansas Nation, your spot for all things KU.
Welcome to the Zone Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Shout out to Jeff Montgomery, Monty. Always fun talking with Monty. Sorry, Darcy, I just crushed some bean salad over here.
What is in a bean salad?
Garbanzo beans, chicken, cucumber, red onion, peppers.
So what makes that a salad? I guess just the vegetable? It's
Feta cheese. I don't know.
it's
What
like
makes a salad
chicken.
anything?
Well, lettuce makes a salad.
No.
Like you can't
What
have,
makes a salad salad?
I would assume that it's the lettuce. But I don't know if you could eat lettuce right
no,
now. with
because
what's going around.
what about fruit salad? Boom.
Fruit salad is got some. Well, no, it doesn't have lettuce in it. But I'm trying.
Yeah,
to think of-
yeah. I literally just proved a point to you.
You had to look it up though.
No,
You couldn't dome it.
I domed it first, and then now I looked it up. A salad, fundamentally a composed dish of mixed bite-sized ingredients. These are bite-sized ingredients. Nailed it.
Interesting. Bite-sized ingredients is what constitutes a salad.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess that there's like dessert salad. Because I actually, when you mentioned fruit salad, I was thinking taco salad. But there's lettuce normally on taco salad, but it's on top of the chips and everything else going on. So it's a salad because there's
Fruit salad already destroyed your argument.
fruit
It was
salad's
already
delicious,
done.
by the way.
Already done. Yeah, of course it is. So I made this, and it's delicious. But I made this. Made my own sauce and dressing, too. Like a chef. And then you realize you have to clean up after yourself.
Yeah, that's
and
not
that's the
That's the worst part of cooking. The cleaning up after,
correct.
by far and away.
Brutal. What else was brutal was the United States losing to Belgium. Right? Brutal, right?
They eat salads in Belgium?
I don't know what they eat in Belgium. They eat waffles and chocolate. That's all I know. But what's frustrating is hearing some of the comments after the game from some players now. Because Matt Freese, the goalie, came out and says, the United States men's national team criticism hurts my heart. Said he felt hurt by the backlash following that game, the elimination. I felt hurt watching you come 15 yards out of the box and miss kicking a ball like your Young Wei Koo, which led to an easy goal. I find myself so frustrated when you hear comments like that. Guys, we worked really hard. We worked really hard. I wanted this. Don't be mean to me. I know you worked hard.
Not hard enough.
Every damn country who's played worked hard. You don't think Spain worked hard? You don't think Belgium worked hard? They worked harder than you out there. I always hate. You know what comes with being a professional athlete. Criticism. When you do well, you get praised. We praised you early in that game for a great stop. Great save. When you do one of the more dumbassery type of plays we've witnessed in a World Cup, we will criticize you. That's the name of the game.
I will say it is interesting. I think criticism in this case, I can see it being a little bit different because of the U.S. men's national team being on a different level. Soccer might not be a top 3 sport in America, but it's the world's game, and so there's more criticism around the world. But you're not seeing Argentinian fans or France fans complaining about the U.S. Like,
Dog,
you're dealing with your own country criticizing your poor play.
Was it Colombia? One of the Colombian players who missed a PK was like going into hiding.
The refs in these games have to go for cover.
Was it Uruguay where they said
Didn't
we're
let him
not
fly back."
we're not going to fly you back. Find your own flight back. So yeah, Freeze, it could be worse, man. Yeah, you're getting a little criticism. You're not getting your own way to get home. They're not making you fly back by yourself. You're not out here going into hiding, which, yeah, people shouldn't do that.
That's a little much. People have to do it
People
sometimes.
shouldn't do that, okay? I get it. But the point remains, a little criticism from one of the more dumb plays we have ever witnessed in a World Cup, you're going to get ripped on. And the fact, it's not just you. The entire team. You lose 4-1. It was an ass-kicking on the highest level. It wasn't close. The reason you should be honored to be criticized. You know why?
Because we're talking about you.
Yes, it means people care.
Yes, exactly.
That's why the Royals, to this point now, we stopped talking about them in the massive negativity. We've stopped ripping on them perpetually. You know why? We don't care anymore. They're so bad. Expectations now are so low. Apathy has set in. If apathy set in with the United States, which it was in the past when it came to soccer, we wouldn't be talking about you. Especially on July 15th, when you were eliminated well before this. But because we care, because I care, because I want to see the United States improve, because I thought they had improved, because I thought they were going to beat Belgium, I thought they should have beaten Belgium. The books said they should have beaten Belgium, if you go by the betting market.
Do you think that the United States men's team almost set themselves up for this level of criticism and hatred because of how they played in the group stage? Just with how dominant they were and almost raising expectations? Because if they would have got through the group stage and maybe not looked as dominant, we'd be like, okay, we're playing with house money here.
Sure.
But to go on the run that they did and then ultimately get pantsed and spanked by Belgium, it does make some of the fans think, like, was that all just, for nothing? Like, this is just what they are?
Sure, but that's a good thing. Expectations are a good thing. Like the Royals going into this year, it's a good thing. Now, when you come up short, you're right. It will come with extra criticism and vitriol. I understand that, but you're spending an obscene amount of money on Pochettino, who you expect to only be here for one cycle. You have this golden age of players, and it's not just MLS guys anymore. You feel like you've really built a team. You have a situation go your way with Flo Balogun. Yeah, the red card probably shouldn't have been a red card. But also, you got it overturned, and he was able to play, right? So things went your way. It wasn't a situation where Flo got penalized, we think unfairly with the red, but it continued over, and he wasn't able to play, and then you still lose. No, you had things go in your favor. This was supposed to be different.
Country. You're playing at home.
And that's, again, another situation where the frustration bubbles over. So when I see comments of it hurts me, yeah, it probably should. But it's fair criticism. We're not taking personal shots. This is not a situation where, and people who are, unfair. But criticizing a team coming up short on home soil when this was a chance to, and I still think they did, grow the game in America. I still think they did. I think it's still a big situation. But you had a chance to get the excitement even larger in the United States, and that does come up short. This reaction will happen. And again, the reaction happens because there were expectations.
Do you think that the World Cup being in the United States will draw more of the casual soccer fan, or at least more Americans to watch the World Cup in 2030?
Oh, me?
Okay.
Me, for sure. I always liked the World Cup. That was fun. But I would watch it in passing. I was never super into it unless the United States were playing. Now, I find myself, when I get home, I'm throwing the game on. I'll listen to the program. I'll have my radio on, and I'll watch the soccer match.
It is kind of cool to have. It's very similar to like that matinee baseball day game where you get home, you throw it on the TV or listen to it on the radio, and you just have that entertainment going on in the middle of the day. And this is a great matchup to have that going on at 2:00. I mean, it's fantastic.
So England and Argentina face off. That game's at 2:00. We saw Spain move on with a pretty decent upset, at least at this point, where it's not going to be a crazy upset. I mean, there's 4 teams left, right? Or there were 4 teams left. you're not going to have a massive favorite traditionally, right? This is not FAU making a transition late into the Final Four, right? That's not what we win. It's not George Mason making a run and all of a sudden they're massive underdogs. Even to an extent, Butler. These are 4 great teams. Spain found a way to get it done. And I know people complained about the PK. Okay, didn't matter. Because Spain added another one, and they win 2-0. So England-Argentina, that game again today at 2. I don't know how England loses right now, which is probably the kiss of death because I'm saying that. But
they look really good.
Between Jude Bellingham, Harry Kane, Argentina's been getting by. I mean, hell, they almost lost to Cape Verde. They're getting by and skating by, which to an extent feels very Chiefs-like a couple of years ago. But eventually that luck, what happened? It ran out.
Caught up to them.
And both these teams stayed in KC. So either way, I will root for either of these 2 teams in the final. I would like to see a home base in KC team win this. But I think today, I'm rolling with England. I'm putting 1776 to the side. I'm putting the lack of good food to the side. And I will go with the bleeping country that eats beans and blood sausage for breakfast. Give me the English.
I'd also take the English. I'm very curious to see what Argentina looks like just because they have been kind of skating through this tournament and not looking as dominant as England has. And I think the win that sticks out in my mind is when England went down to Mexico and beat them in Mexico. Like, that was such a dominant win. It made me think like, okay, this team could legitimately win the whole thing.
To me, you're right. The way England's played has been a much tougher path than Argentina. But then you look at that Norway game as well. Them finding a way to beat Norway. Now, Norway had a couple of situations. I don't want to say go against them, obviously. They had another goal that was taken off because it was slightly offside. I mean, there are always going to be, it's soccer. It happens. But give me the battle-tested team, in my opinion, and that team is England. We'll take a break. We will come back. In the noon hour, we'll have on Matt Verderam of SI. We'll talk some Chiefs, talk a lot of NFL as well in the noon hour. The entire noon hour will be Chiefs talk. Mick Schaefer joins at 1, The Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. All right, wrapping up the hour right here. The Zone Sports Radio 810 WHB. Matt Verderam of SI joins us next. The updated prospects for each team recently was released today on ESPN. A little different than MLB Pipeline, just different ways of getting there. MLB Pipeline's not updated yet from the Royals' most recent draft. The new update on ESPN, Josh Hammond, number 1, Kendry Churio, number 2, David Shields, number 3. Blake Mitchell comes in at number 5, but 3 new guys make the top 10. Zion Rose comes in at 7. Taylor Rabb comes in at 8. Jack Slightom comes in at 10. So 3 new players from this draft making the top 10 for the Royals.
Not sure if I love Blake Mitchell at 5. I'm not saying I
It's a good thing.
disagree, but not great.
Verderam next.
Sports Radio 810 Sports Center.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by ImageNet Consulting. From IT to audiovisual to secure print, ImageNet Consulting keeps Kansas City business moving. Visit ImageNet.com. The American League blanked the National League as the AL wins 4-0. Dylan Cease and then 10 relievers for the AL ended up getting 15 strikeouts in this one. Michael Walker pitched the third inning, 1 inning, and 2 strikeouts, no hits, no walks. While Bobby Witt Jr. was out there at shortstop, he had 1 walk, no hits, and 1 run scored. Royals retake the field after the All-Star break, starting on Friday at home against the Padres. In the FIFA World Cup semifinals, Spain beat France yesterday. They won 2-0. While today's match, England against Argentina, that game kicks off at 2 o'clock. Both those two teams have their home base in Kansas City. This is Sports Center. Welcome to the Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, joined now by Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated. Verderam, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Good, man. You get any pickleball in, any golf in so far?
Yeah, I just finished playing for about 2 hours. So I am on most days.
Are you just kicking your kids' ass, or who are you playing against?
I'm playing against a bunch of people out here in Connecticut that I'm just kind of getting to know. But so far, yeah, I'm playing. I feel good about the way I'm playing. Let's put it that way.
So you're laying the law down in Connecticut, letting them know that, hey, I might be new here, but I'm still going to wax your ass over here.
The first day I played, I was playing against a guy who looked like he was fairly athletic, and I hit the ball pretty hard, and I hit him right in the throat. And so I felt real bad. He's a really nice guy. But yeah, it's been different. It's been good. People are good. People are cool, and it's a good way to feel good about myself and also sweat a lot.
Well, also, let's be real. That's on him. First rule: if you're at the net, you got to keep your paddle up. That's just pickleball 101. So it's not your fault. It's not your fault. Is it the Chiefs' fault that they're going to go into this upcoming season with FAU, Ashton Gelati, and R. Mason Thomas as guys on the edge that will be getting massive amount of snaps, I would have to assume?
Well, I mean, the answer to that question is yes. Their edge situation is both concerning and fascinating because, like, if you're being real, okay, Karlaftis is going to be on one side. No, I don't know what you want to call 85% of snaps, 80% of snaps. Like, he's going to be there far more often than not. And then you get to the other side. And I would make the case that if anyone on this team, R. Mason Thomas might be the biggest X factor that is on the roster, because I could see a world where Spagnuolo says, you know what, he's the most athletic guy we have. We invested a top 40 pick, and we're going to play him, and we're just going to let him ride, let him rip. And like, look, I mean, he's not going to get 90% of the snaps, but maybe he gets 50 of them or something. Okay, fine. I could also see a world where Spagnuolo looks at him and goes, yeah, he weighs 235 pounds soaking wet, and I'm not about to play that guy because that's not the style of football I like. And we're going to play Ashton Gelati 70% of the snaps, and we're going to rotate in these other guys. And if you do that, then you are really, really banking on Ashton Gelati coming in and playing much better than he played a year ago. He was serviceable. He's a rotational piece, in my opinion. But to ask him to go out there and be the guy who you feel good about, really good about, playing across from Karlaftis, it's scary. I mean, it's just it doesn't equate to what you would feel like is a really good edge rush situation.
Are you surprised at the methodology they went with? I mean, again, you mentioned fascinating, concerning. I mean, there's so many different superlatives you can use to try and talk about it. But I guess for me, maybe Cam Jordan was never a realistic opportunity. But even going with R. Mason Thomas over, let's say, a more traditional Spags DN than, let's say, Zion Young, right? I'm not trying to say that because he's a Mizzou guy, but because he does seemingly fit a 3-down edge rusher.
Right.
R. Mason Thomas is more of that specialist. Again, we always go back to Uche. Doesn't matter. There was obviously a lot of reasons why Uche didn't play. Full offseason OTAs training camp for R. Mason Thomas. But I still find myself wondering, is this a transitional period, a period for Spags where he's going to try and grow out of his comfort zone and actually try and get some of those bendier guys on the outside?
Possibly. Look, I mean, he doesn't have much of a choice. Because if R. Mason Thomas comes in and is good off the jump, what are you going to sit him because he weighs 240 pounds? I mean, he's got to play football. He's got to be out there. I would imagine he had a pretty good say-so when they were picking him 40th. But the Chiefs, to me, though, the one thing I will say that I give them credit for in this regard, because I actually am much more down on what they did at receiver. I think that is a catastrophe waiting to happen. But, like, on the defensive line, I actually give them a lot of credit for the way they built the defensive interior. Like, Norman Lott should be back healthy this year. Then you added Peter Woods in the first round, who, look, justifiably went late first. There were a lot of people going to the draft, a year back, like going into last year's college football season, thought he was the best college football player in the country. So you add that guy, you add Tunga, who's a run stuffer. I don't think people understand. Like, this is a casual flick the game on, flick the game off fan. I don't think they understand how bad Tillery and Noddy were inside last year. Yeah. I mean, if you go and watch the All-22, it is an express lane through the middle of it. It's unbelievable. Like, there are literally snaps where there is a hole 3 people wide, and it's like, all right, just pick where you want to run. That being much better should massively help everybody else in the front seven. It should help Nick Bolton. It should help the other guys, Jones, Karlaftis, Gelati, Thomas. It needs to be a massive upgrade. The question is, A, is it enough? And B, do you have guys who can capitalize? I know Karlaftis can capitalize. Can the other guys we're talking about, can they capitalize? And that is going to be, for me, the question of the front seven.
Yeah, to me, Nick Bolton's probably the happiest that Kyrus Tonga is here and Jerry Tillery and Noddy are out. Matt Verderame of SI is our guest. You mentioned wide receiver. So what's funny here is I'm not quite as down on the wide receivers, I think, as most. I'm not saying it's good. Let me go ahead and just say that again. I am not saying this wide receiver room is good. But I don't think it's this atrocity that I feel like some people are making it out to be. I obviously understand the concerns, not necessarily on the field as much, but off with Rashee Rice. I understand that Xavier Worthy is a slider build. Can he handle the rigors of a full NFL season? I get Tyquan Thornton. You're banking on him being a legitimate NFL wide receiver 3, and then after that, you have a whole bunch of question marks, if you will. But I think there's also some positives from a lot of these guys. Maybe I'm higher on Cyrus Allen. I do think Jalen Royals can take that Juju Smith-Schuster role of not a lot of receptions, not a lot of yards, but maybe he can eat that snap count on obvious rundown situations, a good blocker. Where are you at? Because it sounded like you're really down in this wide receiver room.
I think that room, if they end up not being good this year, that room's going to be wide. That room is going to be the reason, other than just injuries. I mean, listen, of course, 5 key guys get hurt again, then yeah. But I think Rashee Rice, when he's healthy, is around the top 15-ish receiver in the NFL. Here's the problem: he's played 12 games the last 2 years because he's been hurt. He's been suspended. When he has played, there are times if you watch the film, it looks like he doesn't even care. Like he'll go out and jog through a route 5-6 times a game. Like, is he going to go out and play football this year? Is he going to show up? Is he going to have his freedom for 4 months, September through December? Like, he's going to do it? Because, I mean, how can you rely on him? Like, if you're the Chiefs, if you're Patrick Mahomes, you know he's got talent. The talent's no question. Is he going to show up and be an adult and play football for 6 months? It's a fair question. Xavier Worthy. I think Xavier Worthy is a talented kid. Back half his rookie year, if you take his last 10 games and you take that over a 17-game sample, that's 98 catches for over 1,100 yards. He looked fantastic. I don't hold it against him. He got hurt last year. It's a fluke play. Kelsey ran the route at the wrong depth and he slammed it for him. Okay? That being said, he is 175, 180 pounds. And you're asking him to be healthy for every game. And I'm not saying he won't be, but it's a concern. Thornton was terrific at the start of last season. One of the best deep ball threats in the NFL. He had real chemistry with Mahomes. They benched him for Juju Smith-Schuster. Like, willingly played Juju, who couldn't move anymore, for 3 months. And that kind of leads me to the other two guys here. Cyrus Allen, I think, is talented. He's a fifth-round rookie. I mean, to bank on him to do anything more than have maybe 100 or 200 yards is just a lot. I don't know that there's much precedent for that unless you're talking about an unbelievably rare guy. Tyreek Hill was a fifth-round rookie at 500-yard receiving rookie year. And Royals, I loved the pick of Royals a year ago. I thought he was a steal like a lot of people. The thing that concerns me is when they were completely out of the race last year, they didn't play him. They just didn't bother to play him ever. Why? Like, what is the rationale behind that? So I just think between the top three guys, sure, if you told me they're all going to be there and be healthy, yeah, they're fine. But, man, you are one pulled hamstring. You are one sprained ankle away from just, hey, your third receiver is a fifth-round rookie. Good luck. And that has a trickle-down effect on everybody else.
No, I completely agree, and I think the Royals conversation is a fascinating one. I'm excited to see him at training camp for that exact reason. The issue, or should I say, the point remains, though, the Chiefs just didn't play their young guys even when they were out of it until the last game. It wasn't like Rashard Smith was out here getting a lot of catches or touches. It wasn't like we saw Jeffrey Bossa take over and get a massive opportunity at linebacker. No Williams, it took a lot of injuries before he finally was able to break through and play way more snaps. It felt like that was more of a Chiefs situation than just a Jalen Royals situation. But again, the point remains, if you're that good, you still force their hand. It clearly was not being forced. When it comes to Xavier Worthy, I think he's the biggest benefactor of Kenneth Walker being here in Kansas City. I think last year, a lot of the issues, especially not just the injuries, obviously, but on some of the deep balls, everyone was rocking light boxes because no one respected Pacheco. The offensive line for the Chiefs basically counted as extra defensive linemen because he was running into their asses time and time again. Do you think Worthy has a chance to be the breakout guy of this wide receiver room just because Kenneth Walker's here?
Well, not just because Walker's here, but yes, he would be my pick to click, so to speak. I think he's the guy who I thought was going to have a really big year last year. He just got hurt. And again, I have to give him credit. He played through it. He played through multiple major injuries. He fought his off. I mean, I give him a lot of credit. I actually thought Xavier Worthy probably had a lot of respect in that room for how hard he played, despite the fact they were a lost cause the back half of the year. I would say, though, look, Walker coming – two things. If you want to be really bullish on the Chiefs, to me it's two things. One is Kenneth Walker is a real legitimate top 10 level running back. Coming in for a team that, look, I'm not trying to take any kind of a shot at Pacheco or Hunt. They did the best they could. Those guys last year were beyond unexplosive. I mean, just to a point. So everybody talks about even like, so last year everybody knows the stat. They had 3 explosive runs, right? 20-plus yard runs, and 2 of them were Mahomes and Worthy. So the running back room had 1. The year prior to that, they had 2. They have had 3 explosive runs over the last 650 carries from running backs. That's impossible. You'd think just some safety would fall over, he'd slip, or they'd blow an assignment, and some guy would just jog for 20 yards, right? I mean, they have done nothing in the running, to the point that I remember watching the Texans film last year when they played the Chiefs. The Texans, go watch the game. For anybody who has the L22, go sit down and watch it. The Texans would just backpedal right through the play action. Like it was clearly a coaching point all week. We don't care if they run it. It doesn't matter. Just get back to your markers and make him throw underneath. I do think Walker running the ball is going to drastically change the way they can throw the ball. The other thing is, to me, is the coaching. The last 3 years, that offense has been mired in muck. And nobody seems to ever have any real fire outside of Mahomes and Kelsey. It just, and that's not the same. I mean, look, obviously, Creed Humphrey, Trey Smith, those guys, I mean, they want to win. They have the fire in their belly. But the guys who are going to be able to really say something, not that Humphrey and Smith could, but they're linemen. Like, it's not typically a lineman's way. Like, you're going to get that from your quarterback. You're going to get it from your offensive coordinator. You're going to get it from your coach. And Kelsey's unique because he's been there for so long. He's first to Hall of Fame. There were so many times in the last couple of years, killer penalties, nothing was done. Same play, run over and over, doesn't work, nothing gets done. You just keep running it. Like, the fact they're bringing Bieniemy back, they're bringing in O'Shea, who's a real receivers coach. They're bringing in a real running backs coach in DeMarco Murray. Like, I wonder genuinely, how much better are they just simply because they're actually being coached? How different is it? Like, maybe we sit here and we go, you know what, it wasn't as big of a problem as we thought. It's, it's the players or it's the mix. Or maybe we're sitting here in week 8 going, oh, my God. Like, yeah, as it turns out, that coaching does matter, and so does running the ball for more than 2 yards an attempt. Like, I think those are probably the biggest reasons you have to look at the Chiefs and go, if they have a big turnaround, if they're 13-4, that's probably why.
Yeah. Matt Verderam of SI is our guest. When we look at the tight end room, what? If you want to talk about what's the game plan, I don't know what it is. Travis Kelce, last year, I think we all assume this will finally be the final run for him. Noah Gray took a massive step back last year. It looked like he lost a little bit of a step, and it's not like he's that old, so that's not necessarily a great thing. Jared Wiley has shown nothing. He's been injured. Jake Brenningstool has been injured, obviously, UDFA. Gillenborg, obviously, a UDFA as well. What is the plan at tight end? Because I'm still holding out hope that maybe Will Dissly makes his way to Kansas City.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think if you're the Chiefs, maybe you call the Rams at the end of the summer. And ironically, they see each other in the first game of the preseason because the Rams, they played 13 personnel 30% of the time last year, more than double anybody else. But they actually have a million tight ends. I mean, they have Ferguson, they drafted in the second round a year ago. They just took Max Clare out of Ohio State. They have Higbee. They have Davis Allen. They have Colby Parkinson. I mean, they're going to have to cut somebody. Somebody's leaving. So if I'm the Chiefs, I think any of those guys, any of them would be a massive upgrade at tight end 2, let alone tight end 3. Maybe that's one of those deals you swing them, hey, we'll trade you a 7th. I mean, obviously they have a relationship. They've made trades before. We just saw one with McDuffie. So maybe you do that. But look, Kelce to me is tight end 1, even though he's older, he's still good. Kelce's still going to give you 850, 900 yards. He's still fine. The big question I have now is, what is Noah Gray this year? Is he what he was a year ago? Because if he is, he's going to be gone after this year. They're going to cut him. Is he back to what he was? It's just a weird fluke year, and he gives you 400, 500 yards. And it's okay for tight end 2. That's fine. He's a question, but I do think they've got to get somebody who can block. Because Kelce can block. He's gotten better over the years, but you don't want him out there blocking. He's 37 years old. You don't want Travis Kelce out there taking a million hits. Noah Gray cannot block. So can you go out and get a guy? Any of those guys in the Rams can block for the most part. Like, can you get somebody in there? I don't care if he catches a single pass. Get me somebody who can block. We'll see. They've always had a guy like that, whether it's been Tunyon or Blake Bell or somebody like that. Can they go get that guy? Because that guy's not on the roster right now.
Yeah, I think that's why I've been so adamant about Will Dissly. Or again, I think you're right. The Rams move would be phenomenal. They need someone, because again, Noah Gray I think wants to block. I think he's a willing blocker. I just don't think he's very good. Yes, and that's so. And Jared Wiley's a big guy. He might have the body type, but we've never seen it. He wasn't that guy in college. So,
no.
Yes, I just think that the tight end room to me is the lack of depth is beyond concerning. When it comes to the entire offseason here, Verderam, and where we sit now at July 15th, how do you think the Chiefs have handled the draft, the moves they made, free agency? Is this what you would have done? Are you surprised by a lot of things, or how do you view the outlook so far as we sit here on July 15th?
I'm overall fairly optimistic. I really like their draft. I thought they had a great draft. I wrote before the draft started, I wrote Delane. I thought was a top 5 pick in the draft. I thought he was a fantastic talent. So I know a lot of people were surprised, upset they took him. I was. I thought he was a great pick. I thought he was going to be awesome wherever he went. And I think in Kansas City's system, he's tailor-made. The free agency stuff, look, I mean, I like Gilman a lot. I think Gilman will be pretty much a wash with Cook. He's a good player. He's been a good player since with the Chargers. I like Tonga coming in there. Walker's a home run. The only thing with them, like, I'm not as concerned about the D-line maybe as you are. Just I don't love their edge group, but I think that the interior will make up for some of that. I don't understand. Why do you not just go out and sign Keenan Allen?
Yes.
Why don't you just go sign Deebo Samuel? Send anyone with hands who's played the sport. Stephon Diggs. Like, I understand the concern with Diggs. I get it. And I totally understand if they just say, look, man, we don't want to deal with the off-field stuff. Although that would be the first time that sentence has been uttered in Kansas City in a decade. Okay? I just wonder, like, you can't tell me they're not a much scarier football team if they sign Stephon Diggs. If that guy's on the field and you have him on the one side, Rice in the slot, and Worthy or Thornton outside, that's an offense. That is an offense. Like, now, like, what do you do defensively? How do you guard that? I just think he would give them such – even Debo, who's not Diggs at this point, would give them another element. They can use them in different packages in different ways. Look, I think overall, I do think they're much improved. I think so much of this hinges on their rookie class. But here's the only other thing I'd say, Sterling. Like, look around the AFC. Who's the team that you're like, well, that team doesn't have massive questions? Like, all of them do. And if all of them do, and I'm starting from a place of having Patrick Mahomes, I feel like I'm in a pretty damn good spot. But Buffalo's changing over their defense. They don't have a great roster. Baltimore, there's a million questions with the Ravens. The Bengals, we know all the questions about them. The Texans, they have a quarterback. Denver, the same thing. Like, it's a fascinating conference. I think the Chiefs are right in the mix, but it's going to, I think, largely depend on these rookies.
Yeah, and that's something the Chiefs haven't had to rely on for a while, since really 2022, right? Since McDuffie and Karlaftis, this is the first year they've had to do it, and it worked out well. But is that the methodology, or was that the outlier? That is going to be the question for the upcoming season. When it comes to the secondary, obviously this is a ton of changeover. What should expectations be for L'Jarius Sneed? I've tried to pump the brakes because I think so many people still think of him as the guy who was here the first time around without realizing not only was he injured in Tennessee, he was graded out as the worst cornerback in the NFL when he did play.
He couldn't move. I mean, look, here's what I would say with Sneed. If you get anything from him, be happy. I don't think you can look at him and think, oh, he's back now. And no. If I'm the Chiefs and he looks like he's legitimately got a little bit of juice left in him, I would basically use the first 3 quarters of the regular season to try to just get him or keep him in playing shape, get him, knock the rust off, and then just try to play him for the last month and change of the year. Like, that would be – I actually think as a secondary – now, part of this is rooted in the fact I think Delane should be really good right off the bat. I think that kid is going to be a Pro Bowl level player immediately. And if he is – I think Noah Williams is probably a pretty good Jalen Watson imitation. I mean, they're both physical corners, not great athletic profiles, but smart, physical. I actually think in a weird way this secondary kind of fits together better than the other one. The last year's secondary is going to be more talented. This year's secondary, though, I think the safeties are about the same. Gilman will swap for Cook. I think, though, the one thing that does matter here is last year in the slot, they were a train wreck because McDuffie didn't want to play inside. So then they're playing Connor. Connor can't play inside. Now they bring in Kohu, who's a real slot corner. They brought in Kennedy. He's an actual slot corner. Like, people misunderstand the McDuffie thing. They think, well, he was in the slot. They got to replace. No, he wasn't. He played like 100 snaps in the slot last year. He was a boundary corner. So you're really replacing him with Delane, Williams for Watson, and then you're going to get better in the slot. And Connor's a solid safety. He's not a good slot corner. I think overall their secondary is going to be fun. The big question defensively is just, do you have any depth at linebacker? Can you cover it all at that position? And on the edge rush, to your point earlier, other than Karlaftis, is there anybody who you're just like, you know what, that guy's good? Doesn't have to be great. Is he good? And if he's good, then your defense should be at least, passable, if not good.
Yeah, I'm with you on the secondary a whole bunch. I've been really high on them, so I'm glad to hear you agree in the same regard. I think there's a lot of depth in the secondary, and I feel like they fit even without the top-end talent necessarily of a Trent McDuffie. I think Shamari Connor is a good safety. I think it was unfair. I think the perception of him is a little unfair when it comes to a lot of the fans because they see him getting cooked in the slot, and I'm sitting here going, well, that's not his role. You're putting him in a spot where he cannot succeed. If you put him at safety where he was more more or less as a rookie, he was very solid in that particular instance. So I think Shamari Conner is going to surprise some people this year. And again, Kader Kohu, Kennedy, and I think even to an extent CRW, whether he's playing safety or as a slot corner, I think he's at least a valuable depth piece as well. Before I let you go, Verderame, offense and defense, the Chiefs will be successful if blank. If some guy steps up on offense and defense, it can be an obvious one or it can be a more of an X factor outlier that's not getting talked about enough. What has to happen for an offensive and defensive player?
I mean, are we just on the whole unit or one player in each unit?
Let's do one player.
Okay. I think Rashee Rice, the sky's the absolute limit if he can just be an adult. And I don't mean that to sound glib, like I'm dead serious. Like, that guy has all pro ability if he get out of his own damn way. So can he be bothered to do that for 6 months? We're about to find out. Defensively, look, I think Peter Woods, to me, is the guy. I just think there is an upside there that is enormous. I mean, go watch him in Clemson in 2024. It's insane. Like, if that guy, if Cullen and Spags and maybe himself, maybe it's shedding a little weight, whatever it is, if he can unlock that version of himself again, that guy can come in and be an immediate force. But I think those two guys, look, if Rice and Woods end up being really good for them this year, they're probably really good. Like, they're probably a very, very good football team. And I think the talent's there. The question is just, for Rice, can he put it together as much off the field as on? And with Woods, can he find that prior version of himself at Clemson?
Real quick, do we think Woods will play some edge like Chris Jones does? Do we think that he'll kick out? No.
Not as a rookie. I think they're going to just make it focus on one position.
Okay, makes sense. Matt Verderame of Sports Illustrated. Make sure you check out all of his great work. You can go to SI.com. He was talking about Bryce Young, trying to prove how he's not a bust. Obviously, he took the Rams down to the wire in the playoffs. What can Bryce Young do? That was a really good piece you had on there. Are you doing the training camp trip again this season?
East Coast this time, but yes.
East Coast this time. Matt Verderame, always a lot of fun talking with you, and I can't wait for that East Coast style. Will you go to Buffalo?
Yes.
Absolutely love this. I can't wait to see what you say about
Thanks,
the Bills training camp. Verderame, always appreciate it, man.
Thanks.
We'll take a break. We will come back. If you've not seen his articles in the past, when he goes to all these training camps last year at the Midwest, he normally was in the Midwest doing Chicago, Green Bay, Kansas City, obviously. This upcoming season, he moved to Connecticut, so he'll be doing a lot of East Coast training camps this time around. It's always a fascinating way to get a look behind the scenes of particular teams that maybe we don't hear as much about, or at least get a nice insight to. We'll take a break. We'll come back. More Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Welcome to the Zone, Sports Radio 810, WHB, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy. Thank you again to Matt Verderam of Sports Illustrated. Always a lot of fun catching up with him. It's so funny because he's so New York, right? His mannerisms, how he is.
I could tell that guy's from the Northeast.
He's from New York originally, and I always laugh because for the first, 3 years of knowing the guy, thought he hated me. I bring this up to him all the time. And he was like, yeah, I'm New York. What do you expect? And I'm like, yeah, I know. First 3 years, thought he hated me. I was doing all these podcasts with him. We worked a lot together. Love Verderam. Great dude. I had no idea. I could never get a read on this guy. And one day he's like, calls me up. He was living in Chicago. Goes, hey, yo, Sterling. I don't know why I'm doing like a Jersey. I'm trying to do New York. It's really hard for me.
They're similar.
There's some crossover.
I hate to say they're the same because they're not, but
no.
they're
But he asked me to go to the Blink.
vibe.
He asked me to go to the Blink 182 concert in Chicago with him. I was like, hell yeah. Stayed at his place. We had a great time at a weekend in Chicago. I was like, okay, so you don't hate me. He's like, I'm never gonna let you know. I love it. It just always makes me laugh so hard.
Keeps you on your toes.
Keeps me on my toes. Good dude. Ball knower, Matt Verderam.
Lots of ball knowledge.
All right, let's get into it. I wanted to talk about this. Better time, no better time than now. Figure we should have an entire NFL hour. We've talked enough baseball about a bad team. Talked enough soccer with the United States out. So, wide receiver list came out today. I'm going to go through the list just in general. We'll go through all of them. We'll start with wide receiver because that one just came out. Jamar 1, Justin Jefferson 2, JSN 3, Puka 4, Amon 5, CD 6, George Pickens 7. So there's back-to-back Cowboys. Nico Collins 8, A.J. Brown 9, Devontae Adams 10. What I think that was the most interesting about all of this, Tyreek Hill was an honorable mention, not a also receiving votes. An honorable mention. He was right there with Malik Neighbors, Zay Flowers, Mike Evans, Drake London, ahead of guys like DK Metcalf, T. Higgins, Garrett Wilson, Jalen Waddle, Chris Olave. I mean, I was a little surprised by that, but I think that was the biggest surprise for me was that Tyreek Hill, free agent, no idea what he's going to look like. And this is not just what they were last year or their career numbers. This is what they expect in 2026. Tyreek Hill was an honorable mention.
Does that pretty much tell you that sources around the league don't believe he's going to play in 2026?
No, I think it means they are. And I think that, well, at some point, and I think he's still going to be good because this is executives, coaches, and scouts. Now, again, there's always going to be one or two. You have to count for Browns and Jets. And Raiders.
There's a couple more you could throw in there.
But overall, it's not going to sway it that large. Like, the reason why Patrick wasn't the number one quarterback and why he was number 2 is because some dumbass put him 9. Right? Like the Jets or someone put him 9. Maybe it was Sean Payton put him 9.
I would say the Bills. Probably the Bills.
I'd probably say Sean Payton and the Broncos. Who knows? Who knows? But the point remains to at least get on the honorable mention list for Tyreek Hill, ahead of a lot of great guys like Chris Olave, in the same category as Drake London, ahead of Garrett Wilson. I find that intriguing, if you will.
It's funny that Tyreek Hill was the name that stuck out to you. I was surprised to hear that, I'm blanking on his name right now. He was,
Nico Collins?
No, Amon-Ra St. Brown is over CeeDee Lamb. I was kind of surprised to see that.
I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. You'll never hear me say a bad thing.
I don't think he's better than CeeDee Lamb.
Also, I love CeeDee Lamb. I realized on that list, I've interviewed most of those guys.
Who's the best and who's I hate to put you on who's the best, who's the, I don't say the worst, but maybe not the best interview.
Puka was great. Jamar Chase the first time was wild. Second time was slightly better, and then I interviewed him in person for the third time, and Jamar Chase was awesome. He was super glowing, nice. We talked KC and Bengals. And he also talked, that was the year they had a whole bunch of change and turnover. He's like, yeah, I don't know how good we're going to be this year. Like, he was just super honest. I was like, whoa, this is crazy. So I respect Jamar a lot because he's always honest. I get the rivalry, but
he was not saying his name.
I liked he did that to me. It was great. That was one of the things that happened. That was one of the things that went kind of viral was that. Fun fact, that was with me. Jamar Chase, though, was fun. I liked Amon-Ra St. Brown. I interviewed him right over there, right before he signed his massive contract extension. He was 5 to 10 minutes late, and we're like, I wonder why he's late. He signed his contract and then came on with me and didn't tell me that he signed the contract. I could have been the breaking news of Amon-Ra St. Brown signs this deal. So maybe I got beef, but he does speak German, and I gave him a great idea one time. I said, you should have a play call in German. The defenders would have no idea. And he goes, I want them to know what I'm doing.
Wow.
Confident guy.
Yeah. You have to be a wide receiver in the NFL. You have to be and that's why that position.
He's
there
very
are so
smart,
many divas.
though. But
you have to be as well.
I wouldn't say he's a diva, Amon-Ra. I think he's one of the few that are very
just confident in his abilities.
Goes to work. Dude's a grinder.
He was what, a 4th-round draft pick?
4th-round pick.
He just turned himself into being one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Well, what's funny on that, you look at that list, Jamar Chase obviously was 1st round early. Justin Jefferson, 1st round, middle of the pack / middle late. You had, a 5th rounder in Puka Nacua. You had a 4th rounder.
JSN was a 1st rounder.
And Omar, just you look at wide receivers, just the list is kind of crazy. A little bit of everything in that one. Obviously, a lot of 1st rounders. That's always going to be the case. But still, you had a 4th, 5th. You had a range of dudes. George Pickens, 2nd rounder, right? So, linebackers. This one I think is really intriguing. It involves the Chiefs, so that's why I find it even more intriguing. By the way, Rashee Rice, or Worthy, obviously, no wide receiver was even mentioned. So not honorable mention. So they have top 10, they have honorable mention, then they have also receiving votes. No one in Kansas City. I don't think it's a surprise. I was maybe thinking Rashee Rice would get 1 or 2.
Oh, I would have been shocked if he got 1 or 2. Not even votes.
No, not honorable. They were also receiving votes, like 1 or 2.
Oh, I know. I'd be shocked if that was the case.
So, Fred Warner, 1. This is off-ball linebacker, so we're not counting like the Micah Parsons of the world or edge rushers that line up into 3-4. This is strictly middle linebackers, basically. Fred Warner, Roquan Smith, Carson Schweizinger from the Browns. He's really blossomed into a star. The Browns are hilarious. They have a lot of guys who are good. They also have none of the important positions figured out. They have all the superfluous spots that only really matter to take you to the next level. They don't have the actual ones that you need, like, quarterbacks, wide receivers, edge rushers now that Myles Garrett's gone. Pretty funny. 4, Zach Bond for the Eagles.
Good pick.
5, Jack Campbell for the Lions. He's very, very good. 6, Azeez Al-Shahir for the Texans. Jordan Brooks for the Dolphins comes in at 7. And then you have Nick Bolton that comes in at 8. Last year, Nick Bolton came in at number 4. This is ESPN's list. They're the publicist, but this is from execs, scouts, and front office members, coaches. His highest ranking was 3. His lowest ranking was unranked.
Was he 3 in 2022?
I don't know what was he.
You
mean last year?
I think you're going over his previous.
No.
Last year, the first year he's been ranked.
No, last year was number 4.
Okay.
I thought 8 was fair. I think that there needs to be some nuance when it comes to Nick Bolton's game. Clearly, I think that he gets too harshly criticized for pass coverage when I think he's improved a little bit. I'm not saying he's good in pass coverage. I'm not saying this is an elite pass coverage guy, right? But I don't think he's as bad in pass coverage as some folks think he is. I also think some of his run blocking, or not run blocking, but run stuffing, getting downhill, has been slightly overblown as well. I think he's very, very good. I don't think he's the best in the NFL at that.
No.
But I do think this year with Khyiris Tonga in the middle will make him look a lot better. It'll make Nick Bolton's life so much. The happiest person about Khyiris Tonga being a Chief is not Spagnuolo. It's Nick Bolton. So I think you're going to look at Nick Bolton, and now he needs to be, because you're getting paid that much money. You know me. MIZ, I love Bolton. I think he's great. He's got to be that guy. He also has to make sure whoever's that third linebacker, you got to coach up now. Now that Leo's gone. Obviously, Willie Gay Jr.'s been gone. Drew Tranquill's still here. But part of the money is, I don't always love saying a coach on the field. You have to coach up Cooper McDonald Jeffrey Bassa, whoever it is, fair or not, I say fair, I will judge Nick Bolton slightly on that because that is what the money's for. I mean, according to an AFC executive, they said he's got the instincts, toughness, and production. His long speed and coverage is just average, which caps him just a little bit.
I would agree with that. I think he's a borderline top 10 linebacker. I think 8 is a very fair ranking. To your point, he gets a lot of flack for his lack of coverage ability. I think he's very good coming downhill. I think he gets a lot of, I guess, praise for the couple tackles he had against Derrick Henry. Like, that really did a lot of the work for how we view him because, oh my gosh, he's taking down Derrick Henry in the open field. He's a very good downhill linebacker. Is he the best in the NFL at stopping the run? No, he's not. But there is a reason why they paid him and gave him that massive extension. Whether that was the right use of the money, well, I guess we'll find out in a couple of years depending on how the roster looks. But I think top 10 is fair. I would even argue maybe he's 9 or 10, but I think 8 is optimistic.
I think this puts it pretty well into perspective of what he, and again, this is why I think Khyiris Tonga, like, I keep saying Kenneth Walker is going to make Xavier Worthy look better. Like, I think those two will play off each other very well. I think Tonga and Nick Bolton are going to be that sort of duo. We see Creed and Trey, we see Patrick and Travis, a lot of duos, if you will. And I think Nick Bolton's going to do that. This is part of the quote. Kansas City's down season camouflage and the productive outing for Bolton, who recorded 10 or more tackles, 4 lost for the second consecutive season. His 4.6% career run stop percentage leads all linebackers since he entered the NFL in 2021. When he gets his hands on you, you're done. There's very rare a time when you're like, oh man, I can't believe he missed that. Like, how often do you like, he missed that tackle?
I can't even think of a massive tackle that he missed.
When he gets his hands on you, for the most part, there's always going to be a couple here. I mean, it's impossible to never miss.
Can't tackle everybody.
But when he gets his hands on you, Derrick Henry or not, you're going down. And so Tonga should help this. Let him get downhill a little quicker without someone getting hands on Bolton first. I think we're going to see a phenomenal season from Nick Bolton. And it better be, because the rest of the linebacker group is a little concerning. The other one I wanted to talk about before we take a break, offensive line. They did tackles and then interior. And interior includes guards and centers. Okay? So guards and centers. Number 1 was Tyler Smith of the Cowboys. Number 2 was Quentin Nelson of the Colts. Still, Quentin Nelson's been incredible for so long. Number 3, Creed Humphrey, the first center. He was number 1 overall last year in general, guards and center. I think that's fair. I think it's fair. Quinn Miners, number 4. Joe Tooney, number 5. Chris Lindstrom, number 6. Trey Smith, number 7. So Creed Humphrey, by the way, being 3rd. No center cracks the top 7. You have to go to number 8, which is Tyler Lindenbaum, who just got that ridiculous contract in Vegas that usurped
everything.
Creed Humphrey, yeah.
It reset. I mean, he beat out what Trey Smith was making.
It was absurd. But Trey Smith coming in at 7. Creed Humphrey, top 3. I don't care if you have 2 guards ahead of him, but top center by a wide margin. We love that. That's fair, respectable. He is the best center in football, and I don't think it's particularly close. Trey Smith at 7. I was a little surprised. I'm surprised he came in the top 7. I don't know if I would have had him above Tyler Lindenbaum at center.
Yeah, I don't think I would. And I love Trey, but Trey has been banged up, and he's also, even though he got a massive contract extension that reset the market, like Quinn Miners, the guy you mentioned, he's a better right guard than Trey Smith.
He's above him. Quinn Miners is 4.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, oh, yeah. Yeah, I think 7 is as high as I'd go.
Very generous.
Because last year was the first year he had injury concerns. In the first year, he was good. He was really good last year. But as the first year, to me, it felt like, all right, I don't know if I would say he was elite. And you're now getting the money to be elite. Kind of like Nick Bolton, where simply being good is not good enough. Yeah, it's great that you were that value as a 6th rounder on a rookie contract was outstanding, phenomenal. But now you're getting paid one of the highest guard money in the NFL. You got to be a top 5, top 3 guard. It's time for that.
Who is 9 and 10 on that list? Linderbaum 8.
It was Peter Skoronski of the Titans, number 9. He was the guy who was drafted. I believe he was a tackle originally, moved to guard. Really good. He's been great. Number 10 was Aaron Brewer, center for the Dolphins.
It's funny the Dolphins have a couple guys that are in the top, like with the linebackers and Jordan Brooks and
they're like the Browns, where it's like you have a guys at positions where, yeah, it's nice to have, but that's not going to help you go from 5 wins to 12.
Yeah, especially Malik Willis. We'll find out. Their roster's not great.
So Trey Smith actually was much improved in pass pro last year. 0 sacks in 389 pass block attempts. But how a couple of the scouts and defensive coaches viewed Trey Smith, here's what they said. You can knock him back in the pocket or beat him backward. A veteran NFL defensive coach said that's how we felt last year. And then a different NFC executive said he's a really good foundational piece. Raw power sets a tone. There aren't many like him. For me, I think 7 has to be the minimum of where Trey Smith would fall in after this season. And that includes one. So that's a top 6 guard. I think that'd be a disappointment.
You're paying him to be a top 3 guard.
Yeah. And we'll see what it looks like after injury. Either way, I thought that was an interesting spot. That was one of the more interesting names. We talked about Travis Kelce when Jason was here, coming in at number 10, how erroneous, absurd that was. We talked about Patrick Mahomes coming in at number 2 behind Josh Allen. The main culprit behind that was one person, at least one person, but we think one, voted him number 9. Which means they would have had a Dak Prescott or like a Sam Darnold ahead of them. Only logical explanation. Silly, absurd, erroneous. So we talked about that. Safeties come out tomorrow. Cornerbacks, no Chiefs were on it, but Trent McDuffie came in 5th. Tackles, no Chiefs were on it. Let's hope that Josh Simmons next year, this time around, can be on that list. For example, Armand Mimbu was a guy receiving votes, so young guys can start making their way, but Armand Mimbu was excellent last year as a rookie. I believe rookie last year.
Yeah, he would have been a rookie.
Rookie last year. And so I think for offensive line, sometimes it takes time. It's a name voting process at times on the offensive line. So we'll see if Josh Simmons can get there next year.
You also can't play in 8 games and get votes.
Well, obviously.
You
I
gotta play more.
I thought even Mimbu should have been higher up on that list. I thought he should at least been an honorable mention, maybe even number 10. But point remains, that's who I think would be the next in line, would be Josh Simmons. If you're saying, hey, who's on this list next year that's not on it for KC? I think my 2 choices would be Josh Simmons and Mansour Delane.
Mansour Delane has got to be the guy that's pretty much getting votes right away. If he's not getting votes right away, honestly, no. You know what? If he doesn't crack the top 10 right away, I'd be a little disappointed.
And you don't want to disappoint Michael Darcy. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Mick Schaefer joins us in the 1 o'clock hour. The Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Yeah, Mick, we have 1 minute left in this segment. I pulled a Jason there. Went a little long. So I was having fun talking with Verderam. We were talking sports. It's not my fault.
You guys were pretending to know who was the best right guard in NFL last year.
No, it's for the
watching right
upcoming
guard.
season.
I know.
Yeah,
Nobody
Quinn
knows.
Miners, Chris Lindstrom, Trey Smith. I mean, that's who it is.
Sure,
I
guess.
care about the right. You think I'm not grinding
Yeah.
film?
Yeah. No, I think you're not grinding film, actually.
I'm a Gruden grinder,
I think you
pal.
belong to PFF and look at the results.
No.
Yeah.
They don't love Trey.
What film do you get?
All 22.
You get it from who?
I get it from you. I learned it from you, Dad.
Okay. You just say stuff, don't you?
Sports Radio 810 Sports Centers.
Summer is here and trees are growing, clogging sewers with roots. Be proactive. July special for Conley Plumbing Solutions is a camera inspection of the main drain for only $129. Call 913-768-7676 or visit ConleyPlumbingSolutions.com. The American League blanked the National League as the AL wins 4-0. Dylan Cease and then 10 relievers for the AL ended up getting 15 strikeouts in this one. Michael Wacha pitched the third inning, 1 inning, and 2 strikeouts, no hits, no walks. While Bobby Witt Jr. was out there at shortstop, he had 1 walk, no hits, and 1 run scored. Royals retake the field after the All-Star break, starting on Friday at home against the Padres. In the FIFA World Cup semifinals, Spain beat France yesterday. They won 2-0. While today's match, England against Argentina, that game kicks off at 2 o'clock. Both those two teams have their home base in Kansas City.
Twitter thinks he's funny.
Shame on you nerds.
His wife and kids think he's lame.
No!
We couldn't get Paul, so we're stuck with Mick.
Yep. Okay, still got it going on.
Mick Schaefer on the Zone with Jason Anderson.
Hold your ears, folks. It's showtime.
Welcome back to the Zone, Sports Radio 810, WHB, Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer.
What's up, fellas?
I'm shocked.
Cat's away. Mice playing.
Are we the mice?
Oh, hell yeah.
Is Jason the cat?
He's a big old cat. He's Tom.
Yeah.
3 Jerrys.
Yeah.
It's an older reference.
I love
You want
Tom and
Tom and
Jerry.
Jerry?
I understand
Okay,
the
good.
reference.
Tom and Jerry, you know,
I watched it all the time as a kid.
All the time. Good.
That was one
I
of my
watched
favorite
it.
shows as a kid.
Great cartoon.
Great cartoon. I love the one when he's trying to pick up that chick, and Tom,
There's always, the female cat.
the female
Yep.
cat, and then Tom is throwing the tobacco together, and then brings out out Jerry out of his pocket to lick. How much game do you have to have? Not only that, then he puts the hand-rolled mice-licked cigarette in his mouth, lights it.
Jerry had to do it. Otherwise, he was going to kill him. He was going to eat him.
Had to.
Yeah.
Just absolutely smokes it in one pull. Just one pull. Didn't even need. He just chiefed it, and then blew out howdy with his smoke ring. I mean, that was the coolest thing I'd ever seen as a 9-year-old.
Yeah. Usually Tom was just the klutz and everything, and was always the butt into the chase and everything. But that episode, yeah, he was owning it. I loved how they showed either the maid or the house owner. They always showed her only from the breasts down. Never
face.
saw her face.
You don't need the face.
Saw the legs, the butt, whatever. No face.
A sign of the time.
Definitely was.
Did you ever hear about how Tom and Jerry, they were actually friends, like the rumors that they were friends, and that's why Tom never killed Jerry?
Yeah, I think Tom was just a big bully, but he was all talk maybe. He was never going to eat Jerry. Although I feel there were some times where he had him in his mouth.
But he never swallowed.
Like, yeah, you had like Jared be in there and he'd light a match. Right? You'd see the little dangle thing.
Your esophagus just hanging down. No, your esophagus. What's it called?
That's the
tonsils.
It's not the tonsils because those are the round things. It's the
That's your tonsils,
gobblers,
right?
No, your tonsils are these little round. There's 2 of them.
You're thinking of your uvula.
Uvula, is that right?
I think so.
I think that's right too. No,
I'm thinking of something else. Yeah,
tonsils are like little
It's
round
not
balls
gobbler.
back there.
You can't say gobbler. It's not that.
I already said it. Yeah, it's definitely not tonsils. You don't have that. Your tonsils removed. You don't have that thing removed.
You don't have that. I've always thought that was your tonsil.
No. You have these 2 little
Balls.
Yeah, balls in your throat.
You have balls in your throat.
It is the uvula.
Yes.
I'm shocked that he didn't mark that one of all the things we talked about.
Still can.
He didn't mark that one. He's marked 4 things already this entire.
This is good. This kid in the candy store, right?
It's my favorite day of the week.
Well, you've got Friday cuts booked for like the next 2 months.
I'm going to play him on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
I love the fact that when Jason's gone, we should have played, since you called him a cat, we should play Central Florida or Central Carolina guy, Coastal Carolina.
Coastal?
The coach that was like,
dogs.
We need some dogs. We need some dogs. We don't want to get meow, meow. We don't need cats. We need some dogs. We should play that. Do you think this email I received is legit?
Let's hear it.
Greetings.
Yes.
I'm Mrs. Wilson, a 59-year-old widow suffering from long-time stomach cancer. From all indications, my
That's a real
condition
one.
is really deteriorating, and it's quite obvious that I might not live more than 3 months, according to my doctor, because the cancer has gotten to a very worst, dangerous stage.
This is the plot of Fletch so far.
I have decided to donate the sum of $2.8 million U.S. dollars, not just dollars, U.S. dollars,
Dude, you are lucky. You're getting this.
to your account, which was deposited by my late husband in one of the bank here, so that
Okay,
you can help me
That sells
distribute.
it for me, how she misspelled that. One of the bank. It's got to be a real person.
And also not the name of the bank, just one of the bank. It could be any number of banks.
I feel like open up an account, put $5 in there, center that account just in case.
Just in case, yeah. So one of the bank here, so that you can help me distribute the fund to charity homes and less privilege over there in your country. So now I found out she's not from our country.
Right,
She
yeah.
doesn't even know what country. It couldn't even be United States because she didn't say that. It's just your
Well,
country.
she knows that Stu is the conduit to all the charities out there.
And then finally, I need your urgent respond.
Yeah. If you don't urgent,
Remain blessed, your sick sister.
Sick sister?
if you don't,
I'm an only child.
if you don't urgently response her, then
You should
you're
respond.
missing
We think
out.
that's legit, right? We think for
Yeah,
sure.
You've never had a sibling. This could be your first sibling who's 30 years older than you and going to die soon, but she's rich.
Apparently, Will was left by her late husband.
Yeah.
Apparently, in one of the bank.
One of the bank.
Who lives longer, your koi fish or her?
Koi fish.
Good bet.
Koi fish.
Good bet.
Yeah, I have a feeling that this is not Mrs. Wilson. Nor do I think that she has
Not Mrs. Wilson. Her husband died. She's Miss Wilson now.
these diseases.
She's available.
That's the giveaway. It's Miss Wilson, not Mrs.
Yep.
Or should I respond back and say, before I do, can I see your charts? Like, I should get into more of a backstory from her.
Yes. Yes. I got buddies all the time that'll entertain those spam text messages and just keep going and just create even wilder stories on their end. So you should do that. Yeah.
I feel like that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
All-Star game, 4-0.
Yeah.
4-0.
4-0.
Waka did his thing.
Boring. Yeah. Waka, they mic up Bobby and Schwarber that inning. We don't get much because Waka was efficient.
Yeah, 17 pitches, 2 strikeouts.
Yeah. Little ground out of Schwarber, I think. And so, yeah, American League Why does the American League dominate that game so much, but not so much? Pretty even with the World Series.
It was the easiest money. FanDuel. I went to FanDuel, said American League. Yep. Super easy. Free
you know
money.
What? I say that all the time. I'm like, this is easy to say yep. Rarely afterward am I telling the story. I'm like, oh, that was easy money.
That was one of the few times where I feel like it actually worked. I also had France winning yesterday, so we.
Just evened out.
It was a wash.
It was a wash.
It was
anyway.
a wash.
But yeah, that after that first inning, it was like over. Bobby drawing that walk was huge.
That's fun.
Yeah. And then the
scored a
Yankees
run.
came up and came through. Yeah.
That was nice to see. I was surprised Walker came in, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I did not expect to see. I mean, he's an older guy, not necessarily the name or a. It's not Mizorowski who comes in throwing 104.
Yeah, why did he not pitch? Was he
A lot
never
of
going to
Sunday
pitch?
guys.
Was that it?
Yeah,
He
there's
pitched Sunday.
There's a lot. And the NL had a lot of that of guys who pitched on Sunday, which is also if you're.
That would have been fun. I was like, are they going to wait till like ninth inning, make him kind of their closer, and have him come out there? It would have been awesome just to see him touch, like, I don't know, 107 or something like
Just
that in an
out.
All-Star game.
And the Brewers
Just
are sitting
reach
back. Brewers are sitting there going, no, please don't. Please
Yeah,
don't.
exactly.
Then Junior Caminero like, please don't do that again. I don't want to get hit.
Oh, gosh.
You feel so bad because he's having such an amazing season. It looked like the extras came back negative.
That's good.
So that's positive.
Wait, it's not negative? Oh, God, that sucks.
I know. Why did we do that in the medical
I don't know
community?
either. Yes.
Why can we say good or bad?
Yeah.
Came back good.
Or positive. That's good.
Yeah. So, but it came back negative, which is positive.
Yes.
So
makes sense.
we have that going for Caminero fans.
Yeah, no, that sucked to see. But overall, kind of the stuff, and there was a lot of it in between the play was way more enjoyable than the All-Star game itself because every National League player struck out, basically.
15.
And they had a 7th inning stretch, a 6th inning stretch, a 5th inning stretch, a 4th inning stretch. When they had the kids run out or ride out on the bicycles to oh gosh, who was playing America? Who was it? The old version. It was Ray Charles.
Oh yeah.
Version of America from like an All-Star game in the 90s or whatever. That was awesome.
Do you like the fact the game no longer matters as far as home field advantage? So that way you can you can do more of these whimsical, farcical things.
Yeah, I was never really stompy foot one way or the other on it. It didn't. I thought it was cool that it did determine it and the guys would take it seriously, but there's still, it's not like, even now that it doesn't determine home field advantage, it's not like it's the Pro Bowl out there or even the NBA All-Star game where they don't play defense. There are guys reaching back, hitting 100, and guys swinging for the fence or, playing baseball and all that. It's not, it's a real game that they're playing. I, and a lot of people, a lot more than I would think, dislike the mic'd up players. I love it that they're mic'd up.
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's really cool.
Well, especially for this
it's
game.
hard. I mean, the guys when they're batting mic'd up, that's pretty hard to talk to them. That might be a stretch. I mean, they had Schwarber and Harper mic'd up, and they're saying a few words between pitches, but my goodness, they're having to adjust to the best pitchers in the game, all the while answering questions from John Smoltz.
You get a pitch clock violation. You're not the batter's box on time. I'm talking to Smoltz.
Talking to Smoltz, man. Come on.
John Smoltzy up here.
And I love it. Harper, you knew was gonna he was gonna challenge a pitch at ABS, and it was a strike. The entire ball was in the strike zone.
I love that.
So that was great. I loved the fielders mic'd up. It's easy. I think, honestly, most games should have like a right fielder or left fielder mic'd up for like an early inning. I think it's just fine. Right? Shortstop, a little tougher, middle infielder. They have to concentrate a little bit more. But I love the mic'd up stuff. I think it's really cool. And they had, last year they had Kershaw mic'd up.
Yeah, that was Kershaw, yeah.
And he was talking back and forth to Smoltzy, and that was really cool.
That was fun because he's like, I'm going to rear back and throw this 87.
Yeah. Throw your slider. He's like, I don't have a slider. You know this.
That was really good, yeah. All right, let's get into it. England, Argentina.
Yeah, coming up.
That game at 2 o'clock. I was wrong yesterday.
I'm going to cheer for the KC team.
That's why I'm excited about. Whoever wins this, I'm going to root for against Spain. Because all Spain gave us was the Spanish flu.
Nothing else. They gave us Sergio Garcia.
Oh, well, they can have him back.
Okay. Sevi Ballesteros.
Fine.
Spaniard, right?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
John Rahm is.
I kind of like
Spanish,
John
right?
Rahm. Yeah, he is.
Before he went to college at Arizona.
Yeah.
Yes. Lives in Florida, I'm sure.
Lives in Florida, I'm sure, yeah.
So I'm going to go. I feel like Argentina has played with fire too much. They've had to come from behind and score late goals just to survive in this tournament. They're great, obviously. But if they do that again against England, I don't think they're going to be able to pull that rabbit out of the hat. So I like the English in this one. I think Jude Bellingham, as Messi dominated the first half of this tournament, I think it's been Bellingham's tournament the last half. So give me England in this one. And I don't know who's favored.
It is very close. Let me pull it up right now on FanDuel. Let me face identification. Just in case. I don't want people placing fake bets on here. I don't want you stealing my phone.
Yeah.
England minus 132, Argentina plus 116. So it's England's
favored.
Slight favorites. Nothing crazy,
Nothing crazy, but sure, yeah.
I guess you wouldn't expect that, obviously, this time around. I think a lot of people are in the same boat you are. I'm in the same boat as well. I'm like, if you're Argentina, you're battle-tested, right? Because you're winning close games late, but you shouldn't be winning close games late against Egypt, where you have, quite frankly, a call go your way on a goal, and then they call it back 3 minutes later. Cape Verde, they were peppering the net. You barely get by that one. And again, who knows? Maybe you win in extra time or in extra time in PKs. It's totally possible. But for me, I can't believe this would continue unless you are a team of destiny. But it feels very 2023 Chiefs.
It should be harder to continue
Or
against a team like England.
24 Chiefs.
They lost to the
Eagles.
Yeah.
When you won all those close games, you're going through and you're like, well, I guess maybe they're just going to keep doing it. And then you face a really good team and you're like, oh, wait a minute. No, we all should have seen this coming, but we didn't believe it.
And I think it's easier in football to pull out games late, to have a strategy and to push all the right buttons and be a team like the Chiefs that year that basically knew how to win games. I think it's easier than other sports to do it than obviously soccer, where, man, it is. I've watched more soccer in my life this month than I have the rest of my life, and outside because I watch Sporting and The Current. That's about it. But it's I mean, so many of these matches, one team can totally outplay the other, but it's just the game's determined by the chaos that happens in front of the goal, right?
Correct.
Where's the ball going to pinball to, and is it going to be in your favor or not?
Yeah.
And so, two even teams like that, it's going to be tough to push those right buttons, I think, for Argentina later.
So I will go with the fish and chips in this one.
Over, what's an Argentinian dish?
They also have paella? I don't know. Argentinian. I'll say Argentina. That's way easier. Food. Oop. Their cuisine is defined by high-quality beef,
Sure.
wood-fire grilling,
It's a barbecue.
and deep Italian and Spanish roots. This sounds pretty good. Choripan, the ultimate Argentine street food. A grilled chorizo sausage served in a crusty bread roll and topped with chimichurri.
Sign me up for that. I'll do
Yeah,
that.
honestly, they might have better food than the English. The English have fish and chips, and they also have...
They definitely have better food than
They
the
do.
English.
Beans for
You
breakfast.
see those videos of like the English kids in boarding school trying biscuits and gravy for the first time, and their minds blown away because all I eat is like cardboard fish and chips.
Oh, yeah. No, Argentina for sure. Dulce de
Definitely
leche,
has
empanadas. I love empanadas.
Yeah.
I love all empanadas. Colombia has great empanadas. This Argentina. We might need to go to
for the
Argentina.
better
Better
need
food. Asado, which is just Argentinian barbecue.
Sign me up.
They grill cuts of beef, ribs, and sausage.
They have barbecue in
They're,
England?
they're probably loving Kansas City. Like, oh my gosh, this is just what we
Yeah.
do in Argentina, just different.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so I might have to root for the Argentinians now.
I'm rooting for an epic game, an epic match. I was really excited.
I root for PKs every game.
Yeah, in the last Argentinian match, that was Sweden, right? Or sorry, Switzerland. Saturday, I was hoping for PKs. They were there. They was almost
was so
happening. They
close.
scored 2 late goals.
Yeah, and like, dang.
Yeah.
No, so yeah, I do think England probably wins this one though. Jude Bellingham, you're right, has played at an exceptional
And he's
level.
not even the guy on that team. It's Harry Kane.
Harry
as well.
Kane. I got to do it because Jason's gone. So
He's a good player. And they're a good team. And
it's Tuesday, isn't it? It's Wednesday.
So yeah, and it's so funny how like all these other squads, the top squads in the world, their captains, their number 9s, their best players have had killer tournaments, just have dominated. 8 goals for Mbappe, right? 8
for Messi.
Kane's got 6, right? Somebody
Kane
else
has
has
6.
7, yada yada, and then the U.S. number, the best guy didn't have any.
Yeah, I mean Kane has 6, Bellingham has 6.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're saying Pulisic over Flo.
Yeah, he was going in, but obviously Balogun was better. How many did he end up with? 3 or 4?
Balogun. I gotta look that up.
Do you know the record for goals in a tournament by one player in the World Cup?
How many?
Now, keep in mind, going into the tournament, I believe
3 goals.
the record. He has 3. I believe wasn't the record going in for total goals all time in all World Cups was 16, I believe. Didn't Messi break it at 16 or something like that? And now he's reset it. It's up to 20 or whatever. And Mbappe is up there with him. But I think it was 16. So what do you think the record for one tournament was?
I'll say 5.
Well, it can't be because 8 already.
Yep.
I'll say 11.
13. A
Close.
guy in the 1950s got 13, but
Wow.
he didn't have the record all time. That was the only World Cup he played in.
Seriously?
Yes.
What happened? Did he just
We looked him up, and
died
was
in war?
He had it was like a Sandy Koufax career. Like played for like 7-8 years, played 1 World Cup, and was just dominant. And now you have all these guys that are threatening double-digit goals. We looked, the Golden Boot winner for the World Cup usually averages 6 or 7 goals per World Cup.
So we have
it's
8.
higher.
Yeah,
It's
so
higher this year.
We're getting some goals. It's because America, we expect goals,
right.
and so they're trying to deliver on said promise for us.
We juice the balls.
We choose the balls.
Yes.
Yeah, on that note, we will take a break. We will come back. We're going to play some Rotten Tomatoes on the other side. I can't wait to see what dumb movies Darcy puts out.
Oh, no,
They're
I've never
great
heard
movies. They're cult classics.
But are they cult classics? We'll take a break, come back to Zone Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Want to see more of The Zone? Watch the show live on the Sports Radio 810 WHB Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch.
Welcome back to the Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer. Time now for a little Rotten Tomatoes. I guess, do I keep score since Jason's gone? Is that how this works? Am I the scorekeeper?
You're going to need to, yeah.
Okay.
I never check his work, by the way. I just trust him.
Do we trust him?
I'm a very trusting person.
MD, MS, SH.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's get Darcy's
You want to start off with me?
crazy
Lead
ones.
off?
Yeah, get that out of the way.
Yeah, let's.
Okay. My first movie is Pay It Forward, the story of a
Look at this
social
one.
studies teacher who gives an assignment to his junior high school class to think of an idea to change the world for the better,
Yep.
then put it into action. When one of the young students creates a plan for paying forward, he not only affects the life of his struggling single mother, but he sets in motion an unprecedented wave of human kindness, which, unbeknownst to him, has blossomed into a profound national phenomenon.
This is Haley Joel Osment,
It
isn't
is.
Yeah.
Well, does something bad happen?
Yeah, he dies at the end.
Oh, seriously?
He
I did not
literally
know
dies
that.
at the end. I
I
think
did
he's
not know
shot.
that. Oh,
Something
I
weird.
did not know that.
Of course, because it's this great movie. Everybody's all happy because he starts this worldwide movement of like, hey, I'm in the McDonald's line. I'm going to pay for the person behind me. And then everybody's paying it forward. And it was started. He gets all this news attention. And then in the end, in some sort of like, I don't know, Shakespearean tragedy sort of way, he dies.
Is this a real? Based on a real like story?
I don't think so.
So we're not just killing kids. They just killed a kid in a movie for fun.
Yes, they did, for funsies.
For the plot.
Wow. I feel like the critics will love this movie and they'll be like, oh, how Shakespearean of them to kill the kid.
Mm-hmm.
86%.
A little too high for me, Bob. I'm going to go 70%.
Critics did not like the killing of the kid. 39%. I don't
Ooh,
think
do I
either
even-
of you
do I
did.
even get there? I don't get there.
No one got. Wow, I thought this seemed like a movie critics would like.
Yeah, I would. I'm with you there. 39.
They don't like dead kids.
We had it at an 80, and then Haley Joel Osment died.
Yeah, and at that point, it was you couldn't.
Well, his
Couldn't
main
come
movie,
back.
he saw dead people, and then the other one, he was a dead people.
His name's Haley.
You don't know Haley Joel Osment? Sixth Sense?
Well, I know. Was he the kid in it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know his name was Haley though. Haley Joel.
Joel.
Huh. I
Put that in
Secondhand
the,
Lions,
put that in the
man.
learned category for next week.
He's got a great.
he's got hair and
he's in
beard now too.
Happy Gilmore too. He's
Yeah,
the-
you're right. I didn't know
he's
that's
the
who it
guy
was.
that.
How would I know that that's the same kid from The Sixth Sense?
I don't know. Have some sort of grasp of pop culture is how.
That's 25 years later.
He's been in other stuff. He's in Entourage. He had an arc in Entourage.
Well, sorry, I don't know child actors very well.
He looks the exact same as
He's
he
like
does.
one of the
when he was
most
a kid.
famous child actors. Forrest Gump. You know, he's also the kid in Forrest Gump. Have you seen Forrest Gump?
Yeah. Parts of it.
Yeah, I was going to say, that doesn't sound very
You
confident.
haven't seen the full movie?
Bubba Gump shrimp, dude. I
Oh,
know.
my God,
Barbecue
what is
shrimp. Life's a box of chocolates. He likes a girl. The girl went off,
Jenny.
hooked up with other people,
we
then
don't
decided,
talk about
hey,
Jenny.
now I'm going to settle down with
She
you.
gave him AIDS.
Yeah.
Well, no, she got AIDS, and then she didn't give, thankfully, Forrest AIDS. But she died of AIDS.
But Haley Joel Osment ended up dying. Weird.
No, yeah, his character did. He's still going strong.
Well, good. I got nervous for a second.
He'll be in Happy Gilmore 3.
he's alive.
Really not paying it forward
I
there.
mean, he looks like now like he did as a kid.
No, I get that, but I didn't put two and two. Sorry. Sandra Bullock and Jennifer
He's basically
Garner
been
are the
acting
same
his
people.
entire life.
It's a good gig if you can get it.
Mhm.
Yeah. All right. What do the audience think about the Killing of the Kid movie?
Was it a cult classic?
It's got to be better than 39%, right? I'm going to say 51.
64.
77%.
Got it. You did.
I got one.
Got one.
On the board. Put him on the board. Yes.
I believe you're up here.
I do believe I'm up. I just watched this movie.
Sixth Sense, Forrest Gump?
I do like The Sixth Sense. Okay, the whole time, though, was crazy. Like,
Yeah. It's
That's-
one of the big reveals in
yeah.
cinematic history.
I do like M. Night Shyamalan.
Yeah.
I do like
He
that
had a
guy.
good run of like 5, 6, 7, 8 years where his movies were like, oh, it's a wild ending. And then everybody caught on like, okay.
Well, if it's your big thing, then everyone's waiting for the big. Would it be a really good reveal? Nothing. Everything happens the way it's supposed
The
to.
Village, if you saw The Village,
I saw The Village.
called that one early.
Yeah, The Village was.
I called that one early.
Yeah, I don't
Because you
think-
knew something like that was coming.
Yeah, yeah. Split was also really good. I love Split, though.
Was good.
Split was badass. Badass. Just watch this one. Coast Guard rescue swimmer Kevin Costner, who still mourns losing his crew in a fatal accident, copes by dedicating his life to training new recruits. So when he meets new swimming champion Jake Fisher, young Ashton Kutcher, he molds the cocky young man into a protege and takes him on a mission in the dangerous waters of the Bering Strait. This is about the Coast Guard. Badass movie. Just watched it. Really long. 2 hours and 19 minutes. Came out in 2006. The Guardian.
I feel like weren't you talking about that movie last week?
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Okay, but
Yeah,
we
it's
didn't do it
sad.
we didn't talk about.
No,
Rotten
that was on
Tomatoes.
Monday.
Should have looked it up.
Yeah, it was on Monday. Yeah, it was a good movie, but yeah, the very end, we're talking about movies where guys die, apparently. The rope's coming down, and Ashton Kutcher is holding on to Kevin Costner.
You tell me what happens. I don't care.
And then Kevin Costner's like...
He died, didn't he?
He's like, Ashton goes, I'm not letting go. And then Kevin goes, I know you're not, but I am. And he like... I don't know if he said it, but I am. I think he just said, I know you're not. And then so but it's my way sounded way better. And so he unhooks his glove, and then his glove falls, and he falls into the ocean and perishes.
Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, I don't feel like that was like a big box office hit, so I'm going to go lower on that one. I'm going to say 58%.
Say 65.
Mick barely gets it. 37.
Wow.
I was surprised by that.
Okay.
I was surprised it was 37% because as a non-movie buff, maybe there were things I didn't recognize, but...
like cheesy lines at the end.
I know you're not. I know, but I am. For some reason, like the whole wife thing, there's a whole bunch of weird things kind of in the movie. But it's long. It's long.
Sure.
And maybe that's what, 2 hours and 19 minutes. That could have been an hour.
No, I
30.
mean, that's an average film now. Back then, it was long.
Yeah. What did was it a cult classic?
I think it was. I'm going to say 73%.
I don't think he was that high. I'm going to be bold and go down to 50.
80%.
Dang.
Yeah. Darcy, put it on the board. Yeah, 80%. 250,000 plus rankings of The Guardian.
Was a cult classic.
And I think if you are in the military, you probably liked it too. It was kind of cool.
The cast helps too. The
Yeah,
cast
Kevin
helps on these
Costner and
movies.
young Ashton Kutcher. So
Should have factored that in.
every single girl was like 100%.
All right, in honor of Ray Charles' rendition of America with the Sandlot kids on the bikes last night, I'm going to do Ray, 2004. Jamie Foxx, just an amazing role. He sang all his songs. He
He's
learned
so
how to
talented.
sing. He learned how to be blind. Everything. It's about the life and times of Ray Charles. What do you say there, Michael? Critics.
I think the critics absolutely love movies like this. I'm going to say 84.
I'm nervous because I think they do too. This one was fairly recent, wasn't it?
No, 2004.
Oh, I don't know why I thought it was recent. They will like a movie like this. 87.
He set you up, but you went the wrong way. 80%. Give it to Michael. I thought you were going to go low. You guys were all over it.
Good job, Darcy.
All right, Sterling, the fans, what do they think?
A little more. 84%.
I'll say 87.
2 points for Michael, 87 on the dot. All you had to do was repeat that 87. You guys were throwing darts. He got the hole in one.
And I'm screwed. He has 4. We have 1. We can now let Darcy.
How will you ever rebound?
I don't know. This is my game. This is my life. This is what I do. I will go home and cry after this. All right, Darcy.
My second movie is Conspiracy Theory. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Yeah,
It's got
Mel Gibson.
in it. Yeah.
Great movie.
So, have you seen
Not
it?
Mel.
Yeah.
Okay, I've not seen it, but
Yeah, he's this whacked out conspiracy theorist
Yes.
who gets everything wrong, but then he does actually land on something that's right, and the government's after him and all that stuff. So yeah.
okay.
Yep.
I actually have not heard of this movie, so I'll have to
This is
check it
weird.
out.
I've seen both of your movies.
Yeah, this is crazy. This is unlike Darcy and you.
Okay.
Extremely
And I
unique.
just ruined the plot for anybody who hasn't. But it's look, it's been decades
No,
for both these movies
you got
coming
it
out.
right.
So yeah.
Okay. So what do the critics think?
Oh, I go first. Shoot, I don't like this. They probably like Mel at least a little bit. 78.
They liked him back then more than everybody
Yeah,
else.
I'd say 78.
Oh, that's a good guess. Which way to go? I'm gonna go 75.
59%.
Just barely got
You get it. You get it, Mick.
Not barely, but 60%.
Critics didn't love it.
They didn't. Fans, was it a cult classic? I'm going to say higher than 59%. I'm going to say could be the Kevin Costner thing. I could be way up there, but I think that's everybody loved Mel Gibson. So I'm going to say 71%. Which way do you go?
75.
Oh, you did it again. It was 64.
Oh, you could have gone.
Dude, I'm getting absolutely roasted this game. I'm not even. Mick has 3. Darcy has 4. At least I'm on the board. I have 1. I got the first one of the game, and then decided that I gotta
do some work here. I gotta do some work.
Gotta park the bus.
Yeah,
all right. Waterworld.
One of the worst movies ever. Another Costner.
My theme was Kevin Costner.
I picked that up.
After the melting of the polar ice caps, most of the globe is underwater. Some humans have survived, and even fewer still, notably the mariner, have adapted to the ocean by developing gills. A loner by nature, the mariner reluctantly befriends Helen.
You sure that's not Mariner?
That's Seattle.
Well, how's it spelled?
Like Mariner?
It's a Mariner, buddy.
Mariner.
I like my
Seattle Mariners. It's a nautical term.
Yeah,
that's what they're named after, and that's what he was. He was a mariner, not a mariner.
I have been singing the Iron Maiden song "Ghost of the Mariner" wrong this entire time.
You know about Ghost of the Mariner, but you don't know about 99%.
Well, because the albatross, hangs around the net. Yeah, I know about that.
Yeah,
and the Iron Maiden is a history band. Yeah,
I'm able to know about Iron Maiden and Forrest Gump.
No, it's too much for my brain.
Stream Netflix, come on.
And her young companion, as they escape from a hostile artificial
they drink
island.
their own pee in this movie.
The Mariner. Soon the sinister smokers are pursuing them to believe that they hold the key to finding a mythical dry land. So this is called Waterworld.
Yeah.
It's Kevin Costner, 1995. Also a long one, 2 hours and 16 minutes.
Yeah.
This sounds like one of the worst movies ever made.
Oh, it is on the list of everybody's worst movies ever. And it was supposed to be this box office hit because that was prime Costner time and prime, climate change time, and it all came together, and it was just a big flop. I'm going to do 41%.
Oh, my gosh, 10%.
Mick, you get it, 61.
Wow.
Yeah,
Critics.
Costner was going to carry it. It was...
Just the description of that movie sounds like a 5%er.
They had Kevin Costner, the mariner.
Kevin Costner was the mariner. Kevon Costner.
They had him developing gills in a movie.
I don't remember him having gills, but I remember him drinking his own pee.
So what did the critics say?
That's probably how he got gills.
So are we tied now?
61%. You guys are tied.
It's big right here, Michael. Fans.
This is huge.
33%.
Could be higher, but I got to make sure I'm within 25%.
This is nerve-wracking.
I'll go 39%.
44, Mick Schaefer gets it and takes the lead. Waterworld. Looks like that was...
All right, I'm going to flash my answers to you.
Shamu flopped.
It did. All right, so in honor of Ray Charles singing last night and the Sandlot guys coming out, I'm doing Sandlot. We've probably already done this movie before.
Probably.
What do the critics think, Michael?
I think the critics liked it. I'm going to say 82%.
72%.
66%. One last chance here.
You'd be going first.
You're going first.
Freak.
Fans
had to like it.
Was it a cult
But
classic?
there's people like, I think Jason doesn't like this movie. No, he likes this movie. He doesn't like Hoosiers.
I don't like this movie.
There's got to be people like Darcy who are
This
dumb.
would be some sort of irony if it came back and bit you and you didn't win.
81%.
84%.
89%. Got a
Ah.
tie. Well done, Michael.
Well, since you guys tied, that means I win, and I have so many people I want to thank. Welcome back to the Zone, Sports Radio 810 WHB. Sterling Holmes, Michael Darcy, Mick Schaefer. As we wrap up on this Wednesday, let's finish the conversation with a little baseball.
Yeah.
So the new draft prospects have been added to the ESPN prospect list. Not on MLB Pipeline quite yet, unless they just did it. Let me check. No. They've not added it quite yet to the MLB Pipeline. So we'll go with the ESPNs because it makes it a little easier for this conversation. They have Josh Hammond 1, Kendry Churio 2, David Shields 3, Angibel Gomez 4. Never heard of him. Blake Mitchell dropped from 2 to 5.
How's he still 5th?
Ramon Ramirez, another catcher, 6th. Then you get Zion Rose 7. He was a 6th overall pick.
Nice debut spot.
So he gets 7.
But I mean, yeah, well, first round pick. You're gonna
Taylor Rabb, also this draft, 8. Justin Lamb.
Is that, by the way, how you say it? Rabb?
It is now.
There's this another Mariner.
It's a Mariner, okay? Rhyme of the ancient Mariner.
Yes.
Why would you think I said it wrong? I learned from Iron Maiden. Number 9, Justin Lambkin, and then number 10, Jack Sly Tom. So 3 of the new draft picks in the top 10 for KC. How did you view the draft? Because it felt like people were heated one way or the other, especially when it came to Zion Rose, feeling like that may have been a little bit of a reach, if you will.
It was a reach, and I will. Right now, they're just names on the paper for me. Some of the film they hit every time. They strike out guys every time in their film. So who knows? They got 21 new dudes, and 17 are pitchers, right?
Yeah.
Or is it 16?
The majority of them.
16 are pitchers, 5 position players, I think, and then 17 college guys and 4 high schoolers. It's clearly a plan.
Well, and it also feels like a lot of high schoolers. There's been a lot less high schoolers drafted recently than in NIL changes things. Obviously, there's a lot of. I mean, if you're going to get paid to go to college versus getting.
Yep. And it feels like the first half of that second day, the Royals were like, we're going to take big time Power 4 college guys, arms.
Yeah.
And just hope a couple of them hit.
So
for like 6 picks in a row, you got Georgia pitcher, OU pitcher, Clemson pitcher, South Carolina pitcher.
Well, you traded the Daniel Lynch, Brady Singer, Chris Bubich.
Yes. Although these are in rounds 5 through 11.
Sure,
as
not
opposed
all
to
top
into the first and early second. Yeah.
Yeah.
Compensatory picks.
No, I think the Zion Rose one was intriguing. I think that conversation surrounding Booth that we heard from Bridges was a little interesting, if you will, as far as that's what it sounded like he was alluding to in regards to maybe he had something done. He comes back for more money because the Orioles offered Booth more money, and we're all assuming that's who the player was. And along the lines of, hey, we've never had a guy make it to the majors who acted like that. Yeah. So let's go a different way, and they went with Zion Rose. I think it's a fine strategy right now, or a good strategy when you're looking at it right now, but you have to get it right. Because if you come back and say, okay, sure, so Rose got $1 million or $2 million less than Booth, even though he was picked 1 spot higher. But Booth ends up being a stud, and Zion Rose is a 4th or 5th outfielder or a quad A guy. We can look